Damn, Leon's quite strong actually.
Yeah. In the previous tournament, they were strong as well, but if I'm not mistaken, like...
Okay.
Okay. All right. Right now?
Now? Okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the M Challenge Cup. Thank you for your patience. Unfortunately, something happened, so the stream died. But hey, now we're back. And as you guys can see here, Leon is doing quite well. And we are watching the game ever since the beginning. So no shenanigans happening. Leon is just pretty strong.
Yeah, Leon has been basically dominating most of the game up until this point, making good use of their double lane as well as mid lane control to basically rotate the map very quickly and take advantage of the fact that MITH in Thailand needs some time to scale up.
Yeah, but unfortunately, even if they do scale up, I'm not even really sure if it is going to be quite enough. Because as we can see here, CC going in, is it enough? No, it's not.
And Hardguard comes out revitalized though, keeping Leon very topped up. And now they're turning. They've run down the high-low as 0367 goes down. G comes in. Jinzu nearly dead to tower, but will be able to walk back out, and the pressure is still mounting.
Yeah, the problem is right now, honestly, Stafa, because we see the export here. One of the reasons why the export might have been picked up is because there's really not a lot of a burst. So not a lot of ways for you to take down the Faraga armor. Another weakness of using Angela mid, not having that burst sustained magic damage, does make picks like this pretty much unpunished.
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult here for MITH in Thailand to be in this around, but the potential is definitely still there. Able to delay for maybe another 10 minutes or so. Tall order, definitely. But they have superior late game scaling with the CC, Lancelot, and the Claude. Leon, their goal is going to be try and end this within the next 5 minutes, I would say.
Yep. Now we can see the hard guard is really just used to make sure the high loss stays alive. But again, the damage coming in from Leon, especially Lamach with the export, is just a little bit too much for them to really handle. At this point, with 6,300 gold lead, MITH in Thailand, I kind of feel like this game is kind of hard for you to come from, especially with your draft. So maybe just consider for game number 2 here.
Well, the way you say that sounds like game number 1 is going to be over already. And honestly, I can't really argue you. The export gold lane, we talked about this while the stream was down. We wondered whether it would be really good, but so far it's working. 0367 down low already. AOG defensively. Nice pullback with fire stakes. But Leon safe, playing it slow and disciplined. Lord crashing up in the top inhibitor, looking for a chance to enter. We got the last insanity blows, does some damage. Tower goes down. And MITH in Thailand, best to hold. They will still survive now. But damage is really coming to a heel.
Yeah, but I don't know. Right now it's going to be tough because Water just completed the Malefic Roar. So a lot of penetration here. And I kind of feel like for a high loss in this kind of situation, there's way too much damage profile, which being this low in gold, I don't think he's built 3 items. And look at that, the high lows gets melted down.
My goodness, Lamar just burning down the high lows. Man's trying to do some damage. Does actually do some solid. It's not quite enough. The hard got low with the CC trying to word. I'm not sure if it's going enough here, as Leon is currently still in a very dominating position overall. They're going to be able to back off without really anything lost.
So honestly, for Leon, the way that they would lose here is honestly if they just dive a little bit too deep. But they do have a lot of ways to escape death, especially we see Jinzu using the Avatar of the Guardian defensively. But again, in this kind of situation, I feel like there's really no big need for him to use it aggressively. And now the Ogi Shadow Kill has been used, but separated against multiple targets, able to survive, but still probably just poking around, making sure that they don't get out of base.
Leon's trying to apply damage to see if they can get a cheeky push in. Looks like MITH in Thailand wants to try and counterattack. Glorious Pathway comes out. They're chasing Leon through their jungle, but they're still so tanky over there on the other side, and I don't really think enough time has passed for the itemization to come into play here for MITH in Thailand. So we're gonna need to see how this continues on as the game continues.
So as of right now, Leon probably going to take the safer route and go for that Lord, especially with a 9,000 goal lead. And honestly, their composition doesn't scale down when it comes to the late game. So I kind of feel like they can just take it safe, take the Lord, and eventually end the game. But something interesting here, staff-wise, that we can see 2 Sky Piercers coming in for Leon. But considering how far ahead they are, I don't think it's going to be all that punish. And eventually, if things go bad, just sell one of them and then it should be fine.
Yeah, typically you'd only want 1 Sky Piercer on your team, but like you mentioned, they're so far ahead that they can basically afford to do so. Water on the Hayabusa, nearly 3,000 gold ahead of Mess. The early lane pressure and rotations from Leon just prevented Made in Thailand from being able to basically do anything on the map.
With 10,200 gold lead, I kind of feel like, especially considering the wave clear coming in from in Thailand, the moment Claude gets taken down, I think that's GG's, because not a lot of wave clear here. Even Lancelot, well, Lancelot, you kind of have to put yourself in a very tough position just to clear. So I think this should be the final push for Leon.
Leon gonna jump back in. Juliana already pops the bravest fighter inside the base. Traction pulse will miss, but the mid tower will fall, and the Lord already pushing in up top lane. Tower taken out beforehand. Landshaker hits the high lows. Revitalize comes out. Glorious Pathway going to be used. It is an all-out 5v5 brawl. The hard guard comes using the use, but coming in from Sugar, and on who's taking back control. Sugar goes down. Lamar is going crazy with the last insanity, and the crystal will fall as Leon Esports takes game number 1.
GG for Leon Esports. And again, they have showed up even in the previous M Challenge Cup, where they honestly looked dominating throughout the entire phase. So for this one, I really feel like they haven't shown weakness, really. Like, ever since the last time they showed up in the M Challenge Cup, they've been looking pretty good. But maybe it is because Made in Thailand is just not super prepared with the patch dropping in today. Maybe some of their plans got ruined because they first picked it. We did say it did get a nerf, where in terms of how the nerf applies in game is that you have to constantly apply that pressure, where before this, you can kite a little bit for 1 second, your stack is not gonna get down, so you're able to dodge a little bit more. But now, because it's only like, what, 0.3 seconds where the stack goes down, you always have to put yourself in a dangerous spot to make sure that you don't lose your stack. So, like you said, it's just one line of nerf, so people thought, it's not that big of a deal, but honestly, it really does.
It does affect the way you want to play the hero in general by quite a lot, but I wouldn't say that the CC nerf is the exclusive reasoning for why Made in Thailand got the run over in this game number 1 here. Unfortunately, I don't think their draft was doing them any favors. They went for the Angela, which of course pairs well with the CC, but I didn't really see very early aggressive rotations to make use of the hard guard synergy. And part of that is because Leon already had so much lane pressure, but if you pair that up with something like a Claude as well, you are just basically giving up map control to the opposite side.
And again, I don't know, maybe it is because we're here from Malaysia. I'm kind of an Angela as well as Uranus hater, so I'm really not liking when I saw the Angela draft. And now Leon here being the, I'm guessing the MVP, 10,000 total gold and 75,000 total damage with 3,111 KDA. It's no surprise that he's able to deal damage considering the Hylos really can't do much because there's not a lot of backup from any kind of artillery. Really kind of feel like if they pick up the Eve, it could have been a better game for Made in Thailand.
It's possible, but I feel like the general approach to the game was already a little bit off. They wanted to play a scaling composition, but they didn't really draft any heroes that would give them the early game pressure needed to buy out that time, to delay until the Claude could actually come online. Leon definitely had a better idea of things. I do think that the export wasn't completely necessary, but it ended up being very useful against heroes like the Hylos, against the CC as a secondary frontline, and Melter, and that allowed Agi on the Kimi to be the sole DPS for the side of Leon alongside the Hayabusa and attack very safely without incident.
Yeah, now we have the Damage King, Lamash, frontliner, 0367, as well as the Gold Digger being Nara Karn. I would say Agi showed proper respect as well. The Claude could do something, so building the Wind of Nature just in case, just to make sure that Made in Thailand has no opportunities for them to come back. So still proper respect showing from Leon towards Made in Thailand. But again, I kind of feel like they can't be optimistic about being able to scale over to the late game, especially like you said, they have nothing to control the early. I feel like at least have one other hero, doesn't matter if it's EXP or mid, that can clear the lane very, very fast. Then I can feel like it's a bit safer for you to use a scaling composition. Yep. And now, like, honestly, looking at how things have really gone through, Leon doesn't really have to.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, there's things to think about, definitely to revisit here. This is, of course, only game 1, our first best of 3 series of our MCM Season 6. But remember, this tournament doesn't stall that long. You gotta figure it quickly. And hopefully this is only the first step here. I want to see a closer competition going into game 2.
Hey, maybe this time in Thailand, if they get first pick, maybe pick up the Hilda and then see how it works. I'm guessing they don't have enough time to practice it, but you know, like, hey, try things out. It's just day number 1. It's not gonna be super punishing. Rather than trying things out at the end, where at that point, you know, it's GG. It's a little bit too late, you know.
Yeah, but it is also a scary thing to think about because the patch literally just dropped today. So these players, these teams have basically had no time at all to practice and figure out what might be new, what might be different. Hilda, though, has already been proven to be pretty solid beforehand, so maybe that's a fairly safe bet to go into. But either way, we've already set up the stage. We know that even in the previous meta, it was very, very important to make sure you had early game control, even if you were trying to play for scaling. That's because of how quickly damage ramps up nowadays.
Well, we do have to say, like, where they are from, just to have some more backstory for the team, where they are qualified for the AM Challenge Cup is because they are champions in their own, I would say, qualifiers, where Made in Thailand won the Thailand qualifier and Leon Esports is the champion for the LNC. We have 189 Esports later on being the runner-up, but still, this in a way is champions versus champions. And Made in Thailand game number 1 hasn't really shown that championship stride, championship energy. So hoping for game number 2 really bring in that Thailand pride and come in stronger, just to show Leon Esports, hey, we're both champions. I'm not going to be taken down 0-2. I'm going to give you one good game, and then we'll see game number 3 how it goes.
Even though they are both champions, though, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the viewers coming in to have a favorite here being Leon. Because not only did they perform very well in game number 1, we have to note previously most of the global audience would be more familiar with a different representative from their region, which was Nightmare, right? And Nightmare actually ended up not being able to qualify to this due to Leon's presence. And they actually ended up not even taking second place. That went to 189. So a lot of times, the times have changed, you know, the meta has shifted. And this is now a team very eager to be able to take that position of representing their nation in M7.
Oh, yeah. And again, we're looking at teams, even just going to the wild card is having a pretty tough time. So this, just by a virtue of the journey, is showing how intense the upcoming wild card is going to be. But again, for Leon, I kind of feel like they are in a very good spot, very safe spot. Made in Thailand, they might have to take some risk. The only question is, are you going to risk it in the draft or risk it in the gameplay itself? Because like you said, the early game is very important, especially going up against high-level teams. Because the way that all these high-level teams have been doing is trying to get more map presence as early as you can. And if you show no signs of resistance, And it might be another easy game going to game number 2.
Yeah, the whole reason why Double Fighter side lane has even become as popular as it is because it's such an easy way to gain lane dominance on a different part of the map than usual. Up until now, gold lane was just basically an island. You'd help them out sometimes, but they generally want to play it safe and farm up. But if you're able to take control of that lane, and if you win EXP lane as well, you basically got the game in the bag already. So because of that, you need to either be capable of using this cheese strategy or having some proper solution to it. And in game number 1, unfortunately, we didn't really get to see that from Made in Thailand. Remember, each of these teams will only have one chance to meet one another in the group stages here. By the end of this week, we will actually already know which of these teams will move on to the M7 wildcard. So not a lot of time for them to figure things out.
And I gotta say, Staffa, something that just roll over my head that I feel like we do have to talk about in terms of picking Claude is we gotta talk about a new item, Chastise Pauldron, because rereading the effects, it's kind of nutty. It's kind of busted, where we gotta talk about the attack speed reduction. Not only does it reduce the attack speed to only 75%, meaning that it reduces 25% attack speed. But the more critical one is that it reduces attack speed cap, where if I'm not mistaken, the cap is 300% attack speed. And if you're reducing that cap as well, it might inadvertently actually cause a big nerf to items like a golden staff. So maybe we I don't know, maybe it is enough to make it so that golden staff ain't the best item just because the Predator Chastise Pauldron is here. And not to mention the secondary thing that the Pauldron has is that when it's below 30% HP, it just bumps back up. It recovers 20% of the max HP over 2 seconds. So I don't know, maybe attack speed heroes, just to be safe, don't touch them for a while.
Yeah, and it's a very unfortunate thing as well, because leading up into this, in many of the other MPLs up until now, we have been seeing just a downward spiral of pick rate on marksmen, right? We're just not seeing a lot of the typical picks anymore, and the few marksmen that are still picked up are heroes like Granger or Harif, who are actually a little bit more skill-based than attack speed-based. I was actually hoping that the patch would address that issue because we were getting too many fighters in the gold lane, but by introducing Chastise Pauldron, it might have, let's just say, exacerbated the issue.
I kind of feel like the way that you adjust stuff up is just changing the gold leaders that you use. So instead of going for attack speed, either go for burst or attack speed characters that don't really build the golden staff. One of them is Obsidia, where you do build attack speed-ish, but mostly it is just the scythe. And then other than that, you kind of build for crit. I'm looking at other heroes here, like the Ixia, Obsidia, Natan, Beatrix, Granger, of course. These are kind of heroes that are pretty strong without relying on attack speed. Hey, maybe we'll see Clint. I don't know.
Maybe, but I feel like we shouldn't just outright get rid of them, you know? Marksmen are supposed to play a pretty important role, and we can't just limit ourselves to skill-based marksmen. If we're talking about heroes like Obsidia as well, I also feel like Obsidia got a little bit shafted in the patch update, where they actually reduced her physical attack growth by 2.5, if I'm not wrong, which ends up adding to nearly 30 physical attack once you hit max level, and in exchange, they just made her attack faster in her ult, which, I'm gonna be honest with you, Lafel, I don't think is good enough.
Considering that, you know, the new item, the Pauldron, I'm not so sure as well. In my rank games, it look okay, but again, it's just solo rank. You can't really judge based on that. So yeah, maybe Untan is just saying, you know what, maybe just no attack speed heroes. Speaking of which, the Boxer here is going to be the first pick for Leon. Again, going for the team. Let's just put a lot of pressure early game and see if they can deal with it or not.
Yeah, I like it. So far, Leon has been showing pretty smart ideas in terms of the way they draft. They did get rid of the CC, Yi Sunshin, and Grok on their side, whereas this time in Thailand banned out the Kimi, Yuzong, and the Fanny. So at the very least, they don't have to deal with Agi going on the Kimi mid lane anymore. This time, they will start off with the Eve Lancelot.
But it kind of does make it so that Leon, it just can have a diver here. They already banned out the Yuzong, but still, there is a lot of picks. Again, the easiest is going to be that Lapu if you're feeling a little bit brave. Maybe you can bring out the Benedetta. Has been buffed, but I don't play Benedetta, so I really don't know, like, how does this quality of life really improve in terms of the way that she plays. Other than that, honestly, Leon, they've been doing so well. Maybe, yeah, just go for Lapu and then pick your mid and then just see what mid in Thailand responds with.
Ooh, Kalea Zusin, very solid duo right here. Doesn't have a lot of damage overall, and might be a little slower to rotate compared to someone like Eve, but their presence is going to add up quite a bit, and the amount of crowd control they have means that Mess on this Lancelot is going to need to play very, very carefully. So far, this is a very solid comp from Leon, but they haven't actually shown any of their cores yet. Right now, they're going to be lacking quite heavily in damage going into the second phase, and that is information that Made in Thailand can use to get some key bans off the table.
See, now that's interesting stuff. We just talked about how the gold lane is really running down in terms of the heroes that they can pick up. Made in Thailand, they themselves pick up the Lapu, very good pick here. But now, Leon, both side lanes, the EXP as well, the gold, has to be someone that can deal a lot of damage. We saw that Leon does go for that X-Borg. Maybe they might go for that again, where you do pick up a fighter that kind of scales, because X-Borg doesn't scale with items. It's just how long he stays in the fight and then just deals true damage. I wonder if they want to go for that again, because it would be interesting if Leon picking up the Boxia, do they have a marksman that doesn't really care about this patch? And hey, maybe that might be the new standard.
Well, there's still going to be heroes like Harif and Granger in the pool, so Leon should still have a good number of choices to pick from. And Made in Thailand actually ban out the Moskov themselves, which is interesting because this is definitely a hero that would get affected quite heavily by the new item.
Oh, yeah. I mean, again, maybe it's just the first day, right? It literally just started today. Maybe they don't have advanced knowledge on the changes, so they're just saying like, maybe we can handle it, but we don't know about the what ifs. But yeah, moving forward, I do feel like we're gonna see a lot less Moscow. So maybe just a little bit of a wasted ban here.
I agree. I'm also kind of surprised we haven't seen a Hilda yet, though of course we've only seen one game so far, so maybe teams aren't quite ready to pull her out yet. Uranus going to be the final ban for Made in Thailand, and I am going to personally say I don't agree with this, because if Leon went Uranus now, they would be lacking so much damage.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Now Leon, the final ban here, if they're gonna ban out another roamer, I don't know, honestly, like they banned the Hylos, but I feel like you don't have to, because Boxia alone can already deal with the Hylos, but now adding the Jushin as well, I kind of feel like their composition is quite well equipped to deal any frontline tank. So yeah, I kind of feel like Leon just overkill, making sure that there's no real roamer for Made in Thailand to use, unless they went for Badang. I was thinking like maybe they want to try the newly buffs like Hilda as well as Minotaur, maybe even the Atlas. Okay, maybe Atlas is not that great here.
Yeah, I'm curious to see Minotaur. Unfortunately, as an Atlas fan myself, I personally feel like the changes to Atlas are not going to be enough to put him back into the meta. Which is very sad because it's so fun to see a good Fatal Links. But now that Badang is out, Made in Thailand does actually have a pretty solid teamfight composition. The Badang-Eve combination can really mess with Leon, and they're just going to play into it regardless. They go for the Harif, which has already been known to have a little bit of difficulty against the Eve, as well as the Arlet.
Having the Harif as well as the Arlet here as the side laners kind of just confirms that they just want to speed up the game pretty fast. This is the kind of draft that you pick up where you have to get to lunch very, very early, or the bus is coming and you don't want to pause the game. You just want to end it very, very fast. So made in Thailand, the Granger would probably be the safest pick here, especially considering there is not a lot of chase going to the back line. So I would go for the Granger, or maybe even in the time if they practice with it. But the 1-1, I am honestly not sure about the 1-1, and not just because of the nerfs. Nerf because of the new pauldron item, but I don't think it's gonna be easy for her to get stacks here. At least not do it safely.
Yeah, no, typically when you play a 1-1, you want to pair her up with as much crowd control as possible. That's why it's quite often you see 1-1 paired with something like a Fredrin. They have Badang, but that's about it. And typically Badang's going to be walking very far forward to find those fizz breaks in the first place, which makes 1-1's life very dangerous. So I don't have a lot of confidence here, but at the very least, it looks like a better draft in game 1.
I mean, if the Casa Curse is working and then they suddenly win, hey, I'm all up for it. But I gotta agree with you. I don't like Made in Thailand's draft here, especially because you're always put in danger when you're trying to get that weakness stack. And Arlet as well as Hive, the moment you see the 1-1 just moves up a little bit too far ahead, unless you're ready to anti-CC the final slash, it will put yourself in danger. But ladies and gentlemen, right now we are going into game number 2 in the matchup here in the M Challenge Cup between Leon going up against Made in Thailand.
Leon Esports currently 1 game up and 1 victory away from taking the best of 3 series, and that'll give him a very good position in the group stage, as this is only going to be a single round robin for MCCM Season 6. So far, some trading happening mid, but not too much yet.
Right, in terms of trading, Jinzo is honestly taking quite a lot of hits, unable to proc the passive quite a few times, and honestly don't know stuff I've been using, and I don't think Muntan changed anything, but it does seem like the passive is a little bit weirder nowadays.
Who's passive?
Kalia.
Oh, weird in what way?
Weird in a way where usually I do this and the puddle will come up, but it doesn't happen like as constant as it used to be.
Ooh, big gang down bottom. Flicker gonna be forced out. 0367 somehow just barely escapes from that one. So we can already see Leon once again being very aggro. I will say I have not played Kalea recently, so I cannot back up what you say here, but if that's the case, I'm gonna need to check that out later.
I would say like okay, hold on. Looks like a gang here going on to Agi and actually gets a kill. Mess gets a kill.
Very nicely done by Mess right there. He did not have a good time at all on this Lancelot last game, but now we get to see his micro mechanics in the bot lane as well. Jinzu gonna be caught on the wall. Luckily, Badang not level 4, so he'll be fine.
Just to get on topic, you know, Kalia does the enhanced basic attack. Oh, hold on. The Arlet is moving around. Long story short, if the basic attack doesn't do the punch on the ground, especially when there's no enemy nearby, it just doesn't create the puddle. Like you do a lot of punches, but you don't slam. No puddle.
Oh, that's interesting. Water the turtle. Juviana, nice flicker, gets away from Raging Slash. 0367 gonna be pulled back with the Stami Slam. And Jinzu picks up that kill. Made in Thailand, not gonna be able to avenge him. Wait, hold on. That one's really far up. Sugar, hold on. Actually gets the crossbow of Tang out in time. Sets up the last hit for Murphy.
Well, now at least we can say that Made in Thailand in this game, they're like, okay, we can see this one. The early game is very important, and now they're starting to fight back. And I like that the fact that 1-1 gets an early assist here, because I kind of feel like you got to snowball with this, because the potential of Leon just countering the 1-1 is very, very high. So maybe they do have to go a little bit more aggressive.
Ooh, Juviana in some trouble. Should be okay. Even with the nerfs, Arlet's still going to be able to heal quite a lot, especially in the earlier stages. Unfortunately, Leon has not been able to build up the same lead they did in game number 1. Water going in to mess with Mess, but the rest of Made in Thailand are here to back him up.
something that Leon does. Oh, hold on, that was nice.
Two-man fist crack. Agi goes down. Tsunami Slam though gonna be used. Pulls two members of MITH Thailand into the tower. But the Harif gonna be traded away. Lamage way too far forward. Narakorn and Jinzu both also gonna be traded off. It's 3-4-2. But MITH Thailand with the advantage, and now they want to steal the purple.
This is good. They got to push this advantage because coming into the late game, even with Pauldron, it is kind of go a little bit more for MITH Thailand because in terms of damage, they definitely have much more damage going into the late game where all Leon has really is the Harif, unless they go for a cheeky build where they build more damage on Juviana. But still, this is good coming in from MITH Thailand, pushing the advantage. And now that the turtle is up, looking at all the alts, at least when it comes to MITH Thailand, they have all of them. Mess doesn't have his yet, but should be up later.
Oh, the Padang will go down, walks into the wrong place. A nice Raging Slash, does some damage. RWM gonna be popped as well. MITH Thailand completely separates themselves, but Lamage gonna find Mess, chases him down in the mid lane. And that is going to be 1 kill for Leon.
At this point, it should be a free turtle here, because even Narakorn is going back to his lane. So now this is pretty much the equalizer, especially for Leon. Is the gold difference real? It's not, right? Because it says 13,000 gold. I don't think it's 13,000 gold.
No. That final number is a dollar sign, Lafel.
Oh, okay. No, that makes sense. Because I'm like, something that... It doesn't look right in my eyes. I can't figure out what.
Yeah, if a team is somehow able to get 13,000 gold in 5 minutes, I think the patch would have broken something. Tsunami Slam, gonna be able to find 0367 once again, forces the flicker out from the Badang. Phantom Execution doing good damage. Jinzu needs to back out of the RWM. The flicker, Landshaker, Narakorn secures the kill onto Kalea. Zaman Force comes out. Fistcrack going to be used. Only man is blocked. Juliana with the flicker, final slash on 2, sets up the double kill. And now Leon is looking to chase. They have found Narakorn. They're gonna pick him up and they're gonna drop him down. 3 kills for what?
Yeah, you're right. The nerf, especially early in mid, really doesn't do much. That Arlet was still nasty. Yes, it is mostly on the control, having the final slash hitting onto 2 or maybe even 3. I thought I saw 3 people there. But again, just the constant damage. Leon doesn't have that much scaling up, but the control is just a little bit too much that eventually it will rack up and they still get the kills. That was very impressive. Definitely one of the better plays coming in from Juviana.
A very impressive play right there. Good micro mechanics, good reaction timing coming in here. Because it did seem like MITH Thailand got some nice catches, but I do also feel like they overstayed in that fight unnecessarily when they had already lost their primary initiator. Leon now with the 2k lead, still not that bad at this stage, but the more map control MITH Thailand loses, the more difficult this is going to be.
Oh yeah, for sure. MITH Thailand, as of right now, honestly, 0367 has been having very, very good engages. It's just that it hasn't been the cleanest, and I feel like it is pretty tough for Mess as well as Murphy. Murphy has not died yet, but still, I kind of feel like it is very difficult for them to really dish out the damage just because the angle is a little bit awkward where he's just a little bit too far away from the team, and if they want to follow up, they don't really have a flicker. Murphy doesn't have a flicker, so if it's too far, he can't really join the fight.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on the Badang shoulders to actually get fights started here. And then after that, the team fight coordination needs to be on point to actually make anything happen. Whereas Leon has a lot more freedom to roam around just because of the way their team is structured. It allows them to skirmish quite comfortably. And because of this, we can see MITH Thailand has to rotate very close together. And that is causing them to lose out on macro.
Speaking of which, Murphy having the Purifier really does respect Jinzu as well as Juviana. But, hold on, Jinzu. Looks like he's going to catch someone.
Tsunami Slam. Pulls them back, and that is going to be Narakorn. Flickers backward, does fall in the end. Zaman Force comes out, crossbow of tank going to be used, but Sugar just doesn't have enough damage yet, and the 1-1 will fall. Mess trying to do the damage. Arlet very low, Phantom Execution picks him up. Juviana will fall at the very least. So we can see the pressure from Leon really ramping up.
Yeah, but that is very worrying because Sugar did have the crossbow of tag, but essentially no damage. And now the mid lane has been taken down. Zaman Force in.
Flicker Zaman Force, Lamage wanted that kill, and Lamage was able to pick it up as well. Another pick off onto the enemy jungler. Means that Made in Thailand is slowly losing more and more of their grip in this game. While they do have some late game scaling, as we already pointed out earlier on in the draft, it's a lot more difficult to execute compared to Leon.
For sure. Again, this is a very difficult spot for Made in Thailand. I would say the way that they can possibly do something. Oh, hold on, Tsunami Slam chases another one, and then the Lava tries to save them.
Yeah, it doesn't come out in time, and that means that Naracore now gonna pull as well. It's a double kill already for Lamage. This Harif becoming an issue very quickly, 4-1 and 7. And this happens right before the Lord spawns as well, so even easier for Leon to contest that objective.
So right now, Leon looking very good here. Winning this match will get them a lot of points, making it easier for them to get onto Group A. And now it looks like the Lord has been started from Leon, and there's nothing that Made in Thailand can really do to contest this one. So they got to get ready to deal with the Lord. And I kind of feel like roughly the same problem they had in game number 1 in terms of the clear is not that great. But Eve, compared to what they have in their first game, Angela, this is definitely much better.
Another Tsunami Slam onto Naracorn. He will be able to back off. Crossbow of Action actually comes out onto Jinzu, but he survives all of it. RWM unfortunately doesn't catch the rest of Leon, but they're still able to do a good amount of damage. But look at Lamage. Lamage is still alive, finds the trade onto 0367, and now Sugar is way out of position, trying to buy as much time as possible. The rest of Made in Thailand not really in any position to back them up, and that means the 1-1 will fall.
Looking at the damage dealt here, Murphy has done a lot, but Lamage is going to rack that up considering he is in winning position. And this Tsunami Slam is starting to become a little bit of a problem, especially considering in Made in Thailand, they don't really have any heroes to counter-engage, or at least counter-engage well, except for the Badang. But at this point, maybe 0367 should not think about engaging and actually thinking about protecting any kind of engages that coming in from Leon, and possibly don't get caught as well from Jinzu.
Oh, just as you said it, Jinzu finds a Tsunami Slam on Mess. He is able to just barely iframe out, and the Lord will actually fall thanks to the RWM setting things up. A good defense from Made in Thailand as they are able to clear up every wave so far.
Yeah, this is why we kind of don't like non-burst heroes with the Kalia, because they are 6,000 gold ahead, and they're able to catch the Lancelot, and the Lancelot was able to get out of there alive. So they have a lot of damage just because of the gold advantage, but they really got to be careful on that.
Well, the damage allows him to take down the bottom inhibitor so quickly, and Naracorn even has to use all his abilities to get away. Another Tsunami Slam finds another target. Fist Crack is good, but it's not good enough as the rest of his team has already backed off. 0367 goes down. Sugar gonna be blasted away by the Harif. Zaman Force is gone, but Lamage's damage is still too much to deal with. But no minions means that Leon will end their pursuit there.
12 minutes, and I did not really notice the 1-1's damage. I think this sends a signal to every other team here, especially for Saigon Phantom watching. They're like, oh, hold on, maybe we should not invest in the item. And look at this. There's no Pauldron yet. So there's no one reducing the attack speed of the 1-1, and it still dealt that much, which is basically nothing.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of marksmen, their scaling just isn't quite as quick as it used to be. With the multiple gold lane nerfs we've seen, marksmen take a lot longer to come online, and nowadays we've got a lot of very bulky sustained fighters in the meta as well, so even a hero that used to be as strong as 1-1, no longer quite as effective. Oh, Naracorn trying to jump in on water, but I don't think that's wise.
Oh, now even the retry is used.
Jumps back in, Naracorn now in trouble. Landshaker lands on Agi, but the rest of Made in Thailand have to abandon him because in the back, the Tsunami Slam gonna catch 0367. Here comes Lamage with the Zaman Force. The Badang in trouble, gets melted in an instant.
Yeah, right now looking very good for Leon. Made in Thailand. They got to use the advantage that they have the Eve and try their very best to clear the minions as fast as they can. But look at that wave. It's a little bit too strong right now. Leon is looking at an end angle.
They find the Lancelot as well. Mesh just barely dashes away. Crossbow tank comes out, but it only bursts down immortality on Jinsu, and the crystal is wide open. Lamaj, he has his eye on the prize. And that is going to be another game taken and a clean victory for Leon Esports.
Yep, Leon winning their first match of this tournament, the M Challenge Cup Mekong Season 6. And this puts them in a very good spot here in Group A, where Made in Thailand unfortunately have lost, so their chances of going to the playoffs, even going to the semifinals, is looking a little bit dim here. They kind of have to hope that Saigon Phantom just performs a little worse.
Yeah, they're gonna, well, that's a lot to ask for here. But our MVP of game number 2 definitely is going to be Lamaj on this Hari. 719 KDA, max build. We could see nearly 70,000 damage total. We were wondering if this Hari would have some difficulty dealing with the RWM, but because of the space the rest of the team was able to create, it was easy for him to chase people down.
And again, looking at the build here, it looks like Made in Thailand, maybe they have thought about with the Pauldron, the Golden Staff might not be as good, so they don't even bother building it. But again, we see that the damage is basically non-existent. And in terms of armor, there really isn't much. Most of it is just coming in from the small Dreadnought here. But now we got to look at the Predator as well as the Rage guy is going to be Lamaj. 7 kills as well as 844 gold per minute.
Very impressive performance right here from the side of Leon Esports. Now, I actually have a bit of a fun fact here as well that I was just informed by one of my viewers, and I've actually been Googling it on the side just to make sure it was true. Apparently, Lamaj is not just previously a player from Twisted Minds, Philippines. He may also be Haji's cousin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently so. I looked it up. There is an article.
Yeah, honestly, that is very interesting. But now with that win and lose, I do have to say how this tournament format is going through. If my information is correct, where for Group A as well as Group B, you kind of want to be in that top 2 in order to qualify for the semifinals. The team that has the least amount of points in both groups will be eliminated. As of right now, Made in Thailand is down in the bottom. Leon is pretty safe as of now. Now, it's all about Saigon Phantom. I feel like the moment Saigon Phantom gets a win over Made in Thailand, it is going to be very difficult for Made in Thailand to kind of claw back up into Group A.
In fact, it's going to be impossible because once again, it's a single round robin. There's only 3 teams in each group, which means that each team will only play 2 matches. And losing one is already going to put you in a very difficult position. We are actually going to see the entirety of Group A happening today, if I'm not wrong. So I believe we will have one more match from Made in Thailand later on versus Saigon. And by the end of today, we will know which of these 3 teams, which 2 will be moving on to the playoff stage.
And hey, this is good for the teams in Group B because they get to see what's going on today, and they can actually have scrim. So it is unfortunate for Group A. They kind of jump in with a lot of changes, not a lot of time to adapt, but either way, that's the nature of competition. No matter what happens, the show has to go on. But speaking of which, that is done for the first match of today. Afterwards, we are going for the second match of today to push through to see which team qualifies for the semifinals.
ơi. Chạm để thanh toán, dễ dàng, an toàn và nhanh chóng. Thỏa sức khám phá, thưởng thức và trải nghiệm. Visa trong tay, chạm Apple Pay, chạm cả thế giới.
Our heartbeats trying to take some time, calling stars and rhythms, trying carving rooms through sweat and grind. We last under dawn from night, fixing scars and canyons slide. One more rumble down, good day. Nice to meet you. Strike our roots and dreams entwine. Our halos lost in sacred shine. Wisdom lies in holy shrine. Nice to meet
Hello everyone, welcome back to the M Challenge Cup Mekong Season 6, where you guys just watched the first match of the day where Leon won 2-0. But now we're going on over to the second best of 3 for today, where Made in Thailand is going to be playing again, but this time going up against Saigon Phantom. Welcome back, my name is Rafael, alongside with me is Tafa.
Welcome back once again. Hello everyone, and thanks again for joining us. We are going to be going into another best of 3 series very soon, and this is going to be an important one because, as Lafel already pointed out earlier, Made in Thailand ended up losing their first best of 3 up against Leon Esports, which means that if they want to keep their hopes of moving on into the playoffs alive, they need a win here, and we can have a look at the current status of the groups.
Yep. Looks like with a clean 2-0, Leon Esports has gotten 3 full points, and right now Saigon Phantom has 0. The moment they lose, Made in Thailand is 0. The moment Saigon Phantom wins against Made in Thailand, that basically secures it where Made in Thailand will not be moving on towards the semifinals, and Saigon Phantom as well as Leon Esports will be the representative for Group A going to the semifinals.
It would also mean that the final game of today between Saigon Phantom and Leon Esports would basically just be an exhibition match, as both teams would already have made it through. So if we want to keep things competitive, we're going to be rooting a little bit for Made in Thailand here in the second match of the day, and hope that they're capable of showing us what they've got hidden in store. Just to let you guys know in advance as well, these are the three teams in Group B who will be facing off tomorrow.
Well, something to note here, Stafa, where looking back at my notes, looks like something is interesting here, where the number 1 in Group A will be going up against the number 2 in Group B. So they can kind of control their matchups in that kind of way. But now we got to look at, will Saigon Phantom extend Vietnam's unbeaten streak against Thailand? Because since Season 3 of the M Challenge Cup, Vietnam team has never lost to Thailand at all. It's been 3 whole seasons here, Stafa. So Saigon Phantoms, they kind of want to make sure that they're not the team to be losing to Thailand for this one.
And that's a pretty long legacy here between this national rivalry. But I'm sure that any Thailand fans watching in the chat right now are going to be eager to see if that trend can be broken today. Because once again, the stakes are high. If Made in Thailand are not able to secure a win here, this will be the end of the road for them in MCCM. They won't even come close to seeing that ticket to the M7 wildcards. And that is not a fate any of these players wants to have to encounter.
Well, I'm pretty sure for the Thailand fans watching, they're hoping for a lot here, because I'm not so sure if this team will be the one representing Thailand in the SEA Games. But yeah, the SEA Games will be happening in Thailand, so they kind of want to make sure that there is a very good showing. But we saw Saigon Phantom play the other day, where they just came up very, very short for representing Vietnam inside the M7 wildcard. They are the runner-up, and that's why, well, basically they're here, right? They're the runner-up of the VMC Winter 2025. So I just hope they don't make the same mistake, in the sense that they kind of celebrated when the game isn't over just yet.
Yeah, it was a very, very close matchup though. It literally went to a full best of 7 series. That was when Saigon Phantom was taking on Radiant Legend Gaming, I believe, RLG SE. And they're the ones who ended up taking that ticket to the M7 wildcards. I'm sure that Saigon Phantom are eager to join them as well, get a little bit of revenge on an international stage. But first things first, they gotta take this win, they gotta move on to the semis, and then we will see what happens from there.
By the way, Stafa, I forgot I was doing it with Sheffin. You were casting MPLMY, and it was a pretty interesting day for you to cast.
I
we had an
day
interesting
one.
time. Yeah, we casted day 1, and I would say the grand finals, it was very, very interesting. So in case, just to give you like a brief of what happened, where yes, it went to all 7 games, and at match point, unfortunately, Saigon Phantom, they taunted, and after that, they could not get any more wins. And they actually started strong with a 2-1 lead against their opponent. So I kind of feel like they're not going to be making the same mistake again, because after that series, there was a lot of tears rolling. Well, for both sides. It was a very emotional best of 7.
It is undoubtedly not a good feeling to throw away a lead, especially with a wildcard slot on the line. But here we've got the lineup of Saigon Phantom, still the same as the BMC Winter Tournament. We got Meow, Jawowski, Hyde, Mzu, and Malik TZ. Actually, Jawowski seems like a new name now that I'm looking at it. Is that that's a new player?
Maybe just changing the IGN, because it's supposed to be Jawowski.
Oh yeah, it probably is Joga, yeah.
Right, probably just changing the name. And Made in Thailand played just now, and it is still the same lineup. We got Narakorn, Mass Murphy, 0367, as well as Sugar. I kind of feel like, based on the previous game, I think if they do want to go for a marksman, maybe something with burst damage, because the Granger was up, but they did not pick it up. That was the damage before the Pauldron was built. So I'm worried that, they will have a pretty tough game if they still try to go for a marksman in the gold lane.
Yeah, we saw a lot of issues coming in from Made in Thailand in the previous matchup versus Leon. Hopefully, this short break has given them enough time to revisit and reconsider how they want to approach this brand new patch, as we will now be jumping into the first game of our second series of the day. It's going to be Broken Wall, Saigon Phantom with first pick.
Yep. Banning out the Fanny here, still a pretty strong pick. Good ban coming in from Sabo, as well as the coach coming in from Made in Thailand is going to be Song Jin Woo. Hopefully we'll not see any Shadow Arising, but the Grok is going to get banned here. I wonder if the CC will get any kind of attention from both teams, because Made in Thailand did get it in the first pick previously, and we haven't seen the CC since, but also because it was banned out in game number 2.
Yeah. CC was a hero that seemed to be heavily prioritized by Made in Thailand, and unfortunately I don't really feel like they maximized the usage of it. You really should have been applying a lot more pressure, especially with an Angela as well. Unfortunately, the lanes did not quite match up, and it looks like Saigon Phantom was watching previously as well, since they will get rid of the Angela.
And now for Made in Thailand, they got to consider what is going to be the biggest threat here, because honestly, right now, Jawowski, but Joga is an amazing jungler. And I think it's very hard for you to target ban. I think the safest one is still going to be that Yi Sun Shin. It looks like they are going to be banning out that CC. So no matter what, they only have one slot to ban. And I'm really looking forward for Jawowski. If he does pick up the Yi Sun Shin, we want to see if the nerfs really affect the hero or not.
Yeah, Yi Sun Shin so far hasn't been played, has been banned out in both of the previous games, so we haven't gotten a chance to see how much that nerf might affect him overall. But just the fact that he has still been 100% banned seems to indicate that these teams believe he is still as strong as he used to be. There's also other junglers like Lancelot and Baxia who have been slipping through the cracks, and Zhu Sin gonna be the hero that gets banned.
Honestly, a pretty good ban, because it is pretty annoying when you want to use a frontline tank. But Saigon Phantom, I think they're fine not using a frontline tank, because I could feel like in this current meta, the only heroes that doesn't want to deal with the Jushin is going to be the Hylos, Gato Kacha, and in case you want to use a Phoveus in the EXP. Speaking of which, I wonder if we'll be seeing an early pick for the Arlet here. Kind of forgot about that hero. Even after the nerf, this seemed pretty strong stuff, like you said.
Yeah, the only time that Arlet is really affected after the nerf is in the later stages, since that's when his skill 2 is maxed out. And by then, Arlet already kind of fell off anyway, so I don't really think he's changed much as a hero overall. The Baxia going to be the final ban from Made in Thailand. That Yi Sun Shin is wide open. Will Saigon Phantom go for it as a first pick?
Yep. Looks like they are considering here. They're gonna go for the Kimmy, which I feel like Kimmy is the perfect pick if you want to go for a double fighter. So I kind of feel like they saw the weaknesses of Made in Thailand, which is the early game, and possibly the inflexibility to use a fighter in the gold. Maybe that's why they pick up the Kimmy, so that they have access to the double fighter, whether they get Yi Sun Shin or not.
Yeah, that is a possibility. And I can definitely see that being the reasoning here. Not to mention that Kimmy just seems to be a very high value pick nowadays. Is actually flexible, scales well, actually wins out the mid lane trade at level 1, which gives you rotational pressure. But Made in Thailand going to learn a little bit from what happened before. They pick up the Eve, but they will also pair it with the Kalea so that they can have some catch.
Yep. Making it so that if Joga does want to go for an assassin, they'll able to deal with that. And having the Eve, Eve as well as Kalea is very interesting, because Kalea is good against assassins and Eve is good against tanks. So this does make a bit of a lose-lose situation for the jungler. You really have to consider which option you want to fight against, because Joga has used the Fredrin and is pretty good, but looks like he is opting for that Hayabusa. And now having that Alice is honestly pretty nasty to deal with the Eve. It's going to be hard for the Eve to get away.
Yeah, but the Alice also has to be quite careful when positioning, because if you jump too far and you get grabbed with the Tsunami Slam, it's going to be difficult for your team to back you up. Yu Zong going to be locked in as the third pick from Made in Thailand here. We've seen that Narakun can actually be a pretty aggressive EXP laner, but without proper catch or secondary front line, he tends to get abandoned a lot. So maybe having a hero that's more capable of self-sustain allow him to create space.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yuzong is a pretty strong pick at the moment, especially I feel like with having Eve as well as Yuzong. If I were to read into the draft for Made in Thailand, is just that they really want to win out the turtle, right? So either you got to deal with the Yuzong or you got to deal with the Eve. Made in Thailand should have, like, once the draft is complete, a draft that should win fights around the river. The only way that they can really mess this up is if they have some kind of jungler that doesn't contest the turtle very well. I'm looking at what they should pick up is either a Fredrin or a Lancelot, because I kind of feel like both is quite well against the Hayabusa and should be pretty strong around turtle.
I think I would prefer the Lancelot in this case, since having the Yuzong and Eve already means that going into Fredrin may reduce their consistent damage overall, but it is still definitely viable. I just hope that they're able to get something with a little bit more burst to properly pair well with the Kalea. They're gonna get rid of the Gatot. They also banned out the Ruby before, so they understand that Saigon Phantom right now needs a main front line since Alice is mainly going to be diving, and if there isn't a hero to defend the Kimmy, it can be quite easy for them to catch her.
In terms of other, okay, Lancelot has been banned, so now the options kind of open, but I do agree with you, Staffa, where Fredrin makes a lot of sense, but maybe they just need a little bit more damage. What other damage dealers in the jungle that can... Well, the Yushin is still up, so they could just go for that, but there's no way Saigon Phantoms picks up the Yushin, so maybe just pick up the gold laner here. I still think the Granger is fine, or the Harif. Either or should be good, but I don't know if they will go for it.
Yeah, right now they don't actually know who their opponent in the gold lane is going to be yet. In comparison, they actually do know the enemy jungler, so yeah, they may want to keep the gold lane a little open just to try and counter pick. They'll lock in the Yi Sun Shin.
Saigon Phantom, I kind of feel like to close out the draft very neatly, they can go for a Harif. If they want to go for a fighter, they can go for something like a Lapu, someone that can dive into the back as well. But just to be safe, either Granger or Harif, and then pick up a solid front, something like a Hylos would be good, so that if the RWM does get opened up, you can use the your ult to kind of nullify all the slows that the Eve have.
And just as you say it, the Hylos gets locked in right there. So they will have a path out of the box of death. I do think it's possible for Saigon Phantom to go double fighter side lane, but looks like they're going to keep it standard. It's going to be the Harif in the gold lane. We already saw Lamaj play very well with this from Leon previously, but the Lunox will be the final pick for Made in Thailand.
Yep, traditionally a good counter towards the Harif, although we have not seen this matchup for a while because, hold on. Okay, they should switch, right? Because no way 0367 is going to be using Yisun Shin Roam, but either ways...
I hope so.
Hey, you know what? Maybe he's like, you know what? Let me jungle. let me show you how it's done. But yeah, the matchup of Lunox against Harif is favoring the Lunox a little bit more. Wait, no, this is not it, right? It's not 0367.
Okay, we're gonna confirm this when the game actually starts, because there is no way that's Kalea Gold Lunox Roam. That does not make any sense at all. And let's go ahead and jump into the Land of Dawn for game 1 of our second best of 3 in Group A.
I see Kalea in the Roam, and it is in the it's okay.
The players have swapped.
Maybe it is like, you know what? I can't use anything other than a marksman, but I can use a Kalea though. So how about let me roam? So for interesting stuff.
Who may not be aware, in the previous match, Joker was the gold lane, and 0367 was the roam. So they have swapped, not just heroes, but roles entirely.
I do have to say, I've cast it for a while, and I don't think I've seen this in the last 2 years at least. Maybe even 3 years. The last I saw is with Malaysian teams like Todak. Wait, no, never mind. I just saw this recently with CG. Okay, never mind. This is not too weird then. We just saw this like a few weeks ago.
Chiku is just a different breed altogether. But this is a very interesting and potentially risky expectation. We cannot. Ooh, 0367 already has some difficulty. Lunox is meant to be a Harif counter, but early on in lane, Harif does trade pretty well.
You make a mistake with Lunox because kind of the way that you want to play is that you want to be able to use your first ability to heal with the minions. As we can see right now, Harif is freezing the wave. So I do see some Lunox players making the mistake of clearing the waves as fast as they can.
Ooh,
Oh, Sugar still
in
survives.
trouble, gets ganked by Tree, just barely. Oh, he's shadow kill! Jawowski with the first blood.
Okay, never mind. We spoke a little bit too early, but right now Saigon Phantom is on form with their championship run in the VMC Winter. They're looking very strong here, going up against MITH in Thailand. But I do have to say, Mustafa, I don't know how to scale MITH in Thailand's strength with the change-up of the roamer becoming the gold laner. We've seen changes in role, but this is such a big difference.
Oh, Jawowski staying under the tower extended just to finish off Murphy. Even the RWM not able to keep the Eve alive.
Not sure how I'm gonna feel about this. Sugar trying to run away, but this is a Kimmy, and the pursuit is relentless. Mas being the jungler, he has to be the one protecting his team. And Saigon Phantom, I did say about celebrating too early, you know, acting very, very confident. We can see a little bit coming in from Mzu, but it's kind of hard to blame him being this confident as of right now.
Well, you still gotta keep some of your identity around. It's good to be disciplined, but there's just some times where you can benefit from a little bit of fun. As long as they've learned from previously, it will be a-okay. Looking at the itemization, everything is proceeding apace. I also like the early Dreadnought from Meow just to make sure he's able to trade well against the Yuzong.
I don't know if I don't know how to call this one, but this is just weird for me, Staffa, because we like Kalia and Lunox together. But again, that's mid. So the moment the Kalia catches anyone, you can see a follow-up coming in from the Lunox. So this is kind of anti-synergy here, where I thought that their draft is going to be absolutely amazing around the turtle. But in a way, they kind of botched it so that they're not that strong around turtle. So I don't know. I thought it would be impossible for them to botch the draft.
I mean, it's definitely still workable. Their team fight is still strong with an Eve Yuzong, but unfortunately they're lacking pressure on the map overall, and because of that, we can see Mzu zoning now. Black Dragon comes in the flicker! And the drone of ruin on Tree! Meow! With the pickup onto Ness. Tsunami Slam comes up, it's already too late. There's no burst here. Sugar has to flicker over the wall. In the meantime, Naracon trying to dive the back line. Drops Jawowski low. Yabusa picks up the killing spree. And in the bottom lane, Malik TZ wins the 1v1 against the Lunox.
So right now we're basically seeing a 1v1 of roles where we saw Meow going to the back line, getting kills, surviving, and then Arcorn is like, okay, I'm gonna try to do that, but he ends up dying because, again, the consistent damage coming in from Kimmy is no joke, is very, very strong. So this 2,000 gold lead for Saigon Phantom, 5-0, is a very big lead. I'm not entirely sure how they can deal with this.
That is already getting out of hand very, very quickly. Mind you, you always have to remember, you never want to give a snowball to a Hayabusa. And Jawowski is already 3-0. So, he's farming very well. Malik is farming very well. The scaling's already coming in. The timer is closing for Made in Thailand.
Yeah, I guess something to note is that maybe we see a little bit of the effect of the traceless nerf, because Mess was caught pretty easily by the Alice. Maybe you're just not used to the timing, where the timing is much more tighter. He thought that, yes, he got away, but the anti-CC will linger, and it looks like that is not the case. So this is going to be difficult for Mess to kind of adjust mid-game.
Ooh, full burst onto Malik. They found him. Mess with the last hit. RWM slows down the pursuit. Tsunami Slam pulls Emzu into the tower, but the Oki Shadow Kill doing a lot of good damage. Mess, though, with the double, actually finds the trade. That's going to be a 2 for the Yi Sun Shin.
Well, again, Saigon Phantom, they got to be careful with themselves, because they did go aggressive. I do understand having this big of a lead, you would think that you won't get punished that hard, but hey, lo and behold, they were punished. Mess now having 2 kills should help him out quite a bit to get his second item, because he only has the Hunter Strike. And like you said, going up against the Hayabusa, which is scaling very, very fast, he is level 11 now, and Mess is level 9. So a 2-level difference here. They need to close that gap very, very soon if they want any chance to fight around the Lord.
It was a good initiation, though. Sugar and 0367 were actually hiding in the bush for a very long time. That's why Malik TZ didn't know they were there and got caught out first. Gonna be another very easy turtle here for Saigon Phantom. Made it a bit too slow to come in. And that means that the net worth remains squarely around the 3K mark.
Yeah, but I think, again, that's fine, because Jawowski now is level 12. I feel like they really should not be contesting any kind of neutrals here.
So now we slam onto the Alice. Meow is in trouble, has to flicker out. Throne of Ruin comes in, revitalize, keeping him topped up, but he is quite low. He has to blink out of the RWM. Mzu might be sacrificed here, and that will give Mess a killing spree.
Yeah, they got to be careful, because the counter engage, especially with the RWM, sometimes it's very deceiving, the damage that the Eve can do, because damage doesn't have a big impact, a lot of splash of colors that you thought you'd be able to deal with it, but now Mess wants to go up against Malik.
As Force comes out, Malik wants to fight, gets the last hit, it's a shutdown for the Harriet. Sugar not able to find the catch, but the blink forward, Do 367 bursts down his lane opponent. And that's going to be a very important pick off. Here comes the Glorious Pathway, but Made in Thailand have already made their retreat.
That was a big mistake coming in from Mess. Honestly, I thought he could just commit and get that kill, but now Jawowski is from the back.
Oh, a really nice play from Jawowski. So now it's going to be used. Sugar gonna be taken down. It's a mega kill for the Hayabusa. Make that double as Jawowski is racking them up.
I just read a comment. You know what they said? You could say that he messed up. Yeah. Although, like, legit, I feel like he could just commit. He might die anyways, but securing a kill onto Malik might be worth it, considering that they are behind. So he kind of got nothing out of that, and now he wants to commit over to Meow. They should commit here, and looks like the traction pulse coming in from Hyde make sure that Meow stays alive. Now that's a feels bad.
Yeah, that definitely messed up his plans right there. A really good traction pulse here from Hyde, making sure that Meow doesn't get picked off there, especially since the Lord just came up. Wow, that's a lot of damage from Jawowski. Forces out the Black Dragon form. Minion wave cleared. And that means that's 2 ultimates gone for the Lord fight.
Yeah, and now you just cannot contest for the Lord at all.
Tsunami Slam going to be used. Emzu does go down. He's 1v5 after all. Throne of Ruin on 4. Meow with the backline dive. Jawowski picks up the Lord, picks up the monster kill on Aracorn. And Meow is still alive for everything.
Okay, a lot of mistakes coming in from Made in Thailand, because you got to sync up what your team wants to do, because Narakorn already using the Black Dragon form way too early means that you cannot contest at all when it comes to the Lord. And then them going for the kill because a good catch came in was good. But going up against someone like an Alice, someone like a Lapu, someone that can dive your back line, that is potentially very, very dangerous. So they got to sync things up. If a big ult has been used, try to move away, not to force a fight against your opponents. Unless it's very close to your base where there's a lot of protection from the turrets, that's fine. But that situation, yeah, that was a mistake.
Ooh. Nice and Ice Slam catches Emzu, pulls him into the tower. Throne of Ruin, Meow finds Mess in the backline, and the damage from Jawowski! It's a godlike, it's a double kill for the Hayabusa, and Hyde even finishes off Narakorn in the mid lane. Mid tier 2 has fallen, holy defenses being taken left and right, and Jawowski is legendary in the base of Made in Thailand.
With 7,000 gold in here, Stafa, I kind of want to call it here. Saigon Phantoms, they are in a very good position to just end it now. Zaman Force just to make sure that they get this inhibitor. It looks like they will back off. But off of that, Malik TZ just got that Holy Crystal. Jawowski having the Malefic Roar. I don't think Made in Thailand will be able to protect the base for another push.
I don't believe so either. It's such a huge gold gap at this point. Nice dash from Malik. Gets away from Sugar. Traction Pulse pulls into Kalea. Zaman Force comes out. RLG gonna be used as well. Malik in trouble. Is isolated. But here comes the rest of Saigon Phantom. Sugar nearly dead. Malik TC still alive. And Meow! With the three-man Throne of Ruin right outside the base of Made in Thailand. This is our neighborhood now. They lose Emzu, but it's going to be a 4v2 defense. Mess and 0367 trying to clear the wave, but Mess is just gone. It's a killing spree for Hyde, and game number 1 will be cleanly claimed by Saigon Phantom.
Honestly, amazing game coming in from Jawowski, but what was that? Meow on that Alice was a bit unfair. The engagements coming in, the Throne of Ruin. Talk about ruining someone's day. That amazing performance is putting Made in Thailand in a very tough spot. If things continue, Made in Thailand will not be playing to in the semifinals.
Yeah, things are looking dire here, and it's hard to say what they'll need to do to make out the difference. Jawowski, Hayabusa 11-0-3 by the end of that game. Nearly full build already. This was already known to be one of Joga's signature heroes, and he continues to prove why.
Yeah, from the early game to the mid to the late game, there were not a lot of opportunities for Made in Thailand to really make a solid comeback. The game ended in 12 minutes, and it's a very interesting approach, moving 0367 with Sugar. Again, maybe they just didn't have what it takes to prepare Sugar for the changes here in the gold lane.
Yeah, sugar may be a sweet ingredient, but not every recipe is going to be work with swapping that in as an ingredient, unfortunately. And here we can see the Hall of Fame being taken entirely by the members of Saigon Phantom as well. Really impressive first performance. Once again, unfortunately, Made in Thailand showing that they have issues if they're not able to take control of those first few minutes.
Yeah, for sure. So, hey, what can you do, right? Made in Thailand, I feel like the job was okay, actually. It was pretty okay, pretty solid. Would prefer the Ludox being in mid, but maybe it's just their roster. They don't have the necessary tools, necessary weapons for this current meta. So this is going to be pretty difficult, especially considering that Saigon Phantom looks like they've been preparing this for quite a while, not losing a bit, especially in the second fight around the turtle, where we basically see individual success from everyone from Saigon Phantoms, a good 1v1 from Malik, and then Meow just dropping the Throne of Ruin onto basically the entire team, and then killing off the Yuzong as he was trying to separate the damage dealers away from the turtle. That has to be a pretty tough loss for Made in Thailand.
That was a really strong show of just micro gameplay coming in here from Saigon Phantom, because every single player was popping off, right? It wasn't just Jawowski who was undefeated on the Hayabusa. Malik TZ was actually dashing around really well, able to escape situations even when he got caught. Meow getting excellent Thrones of Ruin. And in comparison, I felt like Made in Thailand was a little bit too dependent on playing together. Every single time that a fight started, the Kaleo is a bit slow to catch someone, and while Mzu did end up dying a lot, his job was basically done, right? To use up the Tsunami Slam on the least important member of his team, and then everyone else gets to go ham.
And the unfortunate thing is, even if the catch was solid, the follow-up was not there, because in terms of the damage profile, both Eve as well as the Yuzong, they're kind of like shredding the opponents, dealing dot damage, and then eventually they will die. But that's not the kind of thing that you want as a Kalia. You want instant burst damage. I'm bringing this guy in, kill him at once, because even when they caught Mzu inside of a turret, it took the turret and the rest of the team to kill Mzu. And even that one, Staffa, it took a while. It felt like at least 1.5 seconds. And you shouldn't be surviving that long inside a turret. And 5 other members, mind you.
Yeah, 1v5 plus turret, and you're still able to buy like 2 seconds of time. That's already more than enough as a tank. So Made in Thailand's gonna need to revisit some things. Unfortunately, I think there was a little bit pressure on the shoulders of 0367 here, because Lunox was basically the only burst hero they had that could maybe get rid of heroes like the Hylos or the Alice, but there's so many different targets that you have to be worried about here. And then unfortunately, I don't really feel like Mess got to do as much, even though he was able to pick up some kills here or there, because the team fight spacing was non-existent.
And the problem here is that usually in this kind of situation where the next game is kind of like do or die, our traditional advice is just to play with comfort. But watching Made in Thailand in 2 series now, I honestly don't know what's their comfort.
Yeah.
Especially with changing the roles here.
It makes you a little bit concerned, because there's cases like in our experience with Chiku, where players are clearly switched for the fun of it, but nowadays you don't see that much anymore. So if a team has to switch to roles because of a lack of confidence or lack of hero pool, then are you really in a position where you can compete on an international stage?
Yeah, maybe they're just not ready, because looking at M Challenge Cup this season, I think them being placed in Group A is very daunting, because again, the champions of LNC, Laos National Championship, and even though Saigon Phantom is runner-up, they kind of almost became champion themselves. They went all 7 games, so this is a very rough group for them to be in.
Yeah, I would not want to be in their position, but at the same time, if you want to be able to achieve those heights, to represent your nation in a tournament as large as M7, then you need to be strong enough to overcome this challenge here. You're not even 1 step into the wildcards yet. So going into game number 2, it is truly do or die. This is going to be the final game in the group stage as well. So hopefully we get to see something different, but not in the way that we saw in game 2.
Yep, no worry, folks. We're just waiting for the players to really get ready, understand after that game. I really feel like they just need that extra time to strategize about what to do in game number 2. But again, me and Staffa, we're not entirely sure. Made in Thailand, what is going to be the next up and coming, because if their comfort is attack speed goal laners for Sugar, then they're kind of out of luck. I legit, Staffa, have no idea what attack speed gold laner is good now, because we saw the 1-1, not enough. We saw the Claude, not enough. And like you said, Obsidia kind of did get shafted a little bit. 30% extra attack speed sounds good on paper, as long as the Pauldron is not an item. Although we can't say that. We have not seen that item being built just yet. And the argument is it's unnecessary. Like, the problem isn't there for it to be built
only if you hit your ult, by the way. Like, you only get that if you hit someone with your ult. So even more conditional. Quite easy to miss that ult as well. In the first place, Obsidia is not really a good hero, unfortunately. Like, what other attack speed marksmen are even in the map before this patch drop? There weren't a lot. I think it was basically just Moskov, Claude.
Moskov? Yeah.
and that's it, I think.
Ixia, I've seen Ixia, but it's super
True.
conditional. But it's very tough when everyone is using divers, right? Lapu, Yuzongs. Arlet, not so much, but we've seen some crazy Arlets with Flicker, so maybe they can make it happen. It's unfortunate that Bane is a pretty simple fighter to use, did get nerfed, so that's out of the table as well. I don't know. I legit have no idea. Oh, one we haven't seen a lot, but I think there's potential is the Sylvana. But again, we haven't seen anyone used it. Thamos did get buffed, but again, no Thamos has been seen. Not just in tournament. Honestly, even in my ranked games, I've not seen a Thamos for quite a while.
Yeah, unfortunately, the existence of pure 1v1 dueler EXP lanes has been tough, to say the least, because nowadays, even dueling EXP laners like CC kind of need to bring something else to the table, right? CC is picked up because he also has access to things like Curtain Call, so that you do still have some utility, some sort of lockdown. Thamos can only stand there and hope that he's able to stick on someone, and there's so much mobility in the meta now that it's difficult to do so.
Yeah. I see a question here coming in chat where they are asking where we can see the standings. Where this is day number 1 of the M Challenge Cup, so we're only seeing Group A for today. As of right now, Leon Esports is number 1 with 3 points. Saigon Phantom, after winning the first game in the best of 3, has scored 1 point. So they are currently the second place. And Made in Thailand has 0 points right now. So the standings right now is Leon, then Saigon, then Made in Thailand. But after the final match of the day, Leon Esports and Made in Thailand, we can see who will be number 1 and who will be number 2.
I am kind of curious to see the final match of the day, because so far Leon and Saigon Phantom have both shown themselves to be quite effective. Honestly, I'm actually impressed by how well they've been playing so far. So what happens when they go head to head? And in the first place, can Made in Thailand even compete? Are they in a position where they could hope to maybe still make it to the next phase?
I'm not gonna lie, Stafa. I wouldn't put my money on that bad, you know. And it's not just because I'm Muslim, but
that bad, huh?
yeah, that bad. But the only crazy gambit that they can use is if somehow Made in Thailand has a very insane Fanny, and Fanny is not bad. So it's just like, okay, the jungler kind of carries, because something that a professional gold laner has said, if you're having a bad game, hope that your jungler can carry. So yeah, we'll see if the jungler can carry.
It's a lot to ask for, but it looks like we're going to need a short moment, everyone, to make sure that all the players are ready for game number 2. So we'll jump into a very short break, and we will see you guys very soon.
Actually, I think we're going to be looking at some And there you go. Those are the highlights. And looking back, it really does seem like there are some troubles from Made in Thailand to really identify when's a good time to go in for a fight. Where we even saw in the highlights where Mas goes up against Malik, and by the time he realizes he doesn't have enough damage, it was a little bit too late.
It does feel like there's a lack of finesse coming in from Made in Thailand. Maybe a lack of experience overall, because there's a lot of times where they're just playing by the book, hoping to maybe get a catch, get a burst, and for everything to work out. There's a little bit of desperation in the way that they're just like trying to do the same thing over and over again and hope that something works. And well, I think we all know that that's not going to end up very well.
Yeah, it does seem like they don't really know how to min-max their heroes in a way where they don't know how, like, the maximum amount of damage that they can take in a fight and still stay safe, and don't know how much damage that they can really put out when certain items are achieved. So at that point, I kind of feel like when they initiate a fight, in a way, it's kind of like praying. It's like, okay, I'm gonna try it. We'll see let's see how it works out. Maybe it's good.
Yeah.
Maybe it's bad. You know, throwing the dice.
It's a bit reactive, and that's not really a stance you want to have to take on a tournament of this scale, on an opportunity of this scale. On another note, someone in the comment that you should be.
Well, considering the weather here in Malaysia, I would agree with this person. We need more cool people around, you know, because I don't want to be the reason why climate change is changing for the worse.
Yeah, we definitely want that to be the case. But hopefully this game does not turn for the worse for Made in Thailand. This is now truly backed into a corner for them. And they will have first pick in game number 2. They're going to be banning out the Hayabusa and the Baxia, so more focus towards Jawowski now.
Yeah, but we both know Jawowski has been around the block for a solid at least 2 years now. So in terms of the hero that he can use, it's kind of a lot. So now banning out the CC as well as the Fanny. Made in Thailand, the first pick really has to, you know, be... I think it's just the Kimmy, because I don't know any other hero that can really impact how you know things can shape up. I really feel like they need a Kimmy.
I agree with you. Kimmy does seem to be very valuable in these positions here, especially since Made in Thailand has already shown they have a lot of difficulty keeping control over that mid lane pressure. And that ends up getting out of control when rotations happen and ganks happen and the snowball just gets going, right? So maybe stealing that away in the first place would make things a little easier.
Yep. So they're going to pick up the Kimmy. And then unfortunately, they'll just have to see Saigon Phantom picking up the Eve, the Farsas, and then an Assassin in the jungle. And then it's going to be a little bit sad. Unless Yisun shit is banned. And then, like, what other jungler is going to be? Oh, Lancelot, I guess. By the way, someone said that you need to be banned as well.
For being too cute, apparently. Well, at least I don't affect the weather. I'll take it.
Hey, you know what? That's true. It's just you, yourself, and no one else. And Kimmy gets picked up here. Eve, Farsa can wait, but if they don't, they can just pick it up right now and then pick up the Lancelot. And really, as Made in Thailand, what do you have? Because the Yisun Shin was not it in game number 1. Or they themselves can pick up the Yisun Shin.
Yeah. The Kalea would also be open. That's also a potentially good burst to pair and maybe steal it away. It depends. So far, we've not had the chance to see Saigon Phantom on the red side, whether or not they have a different strategy overall. They're gonna Glock in the Yuzong and the Kalea. An interesting opening pair.
Well, you did say the Kalea, so good call on that one. I really did not thought the Yuzong would get picked up that early, but it looks like Made in Thailand, they are gonna respond with picking up the Lapu as well as the Gatot. So they might have something very interesting in the jungle here, because Lancelot and Yisun Shin will get pick-up ban at this point.
Yeah, I think
Where are they
so.
playing currently? Now, someone's asking, and they're playing at Hanoi University of Civil Engineering. Oh wait, no, that is for the grand finals. Right now, they're playing in the OEG Stadium in Hanoi.
I'm glad that you had the answer locked and loaded there because I definitely did not. I thought I would have to go check Wikipedia or something, or make something up on the spot. But hey, that's why you're the analyst, right?
Yep, knowing locations helps a lot in my analysis. That's where we're at. Saigon Phantom now picking up the Eastern shit. Hey, I think my fee I got like C, so it's not even that good. But anyway, that's Malaysian. Yeah, that's Malaysian geography. So, what do you think is going to be banned here by Saigon Phantom?
We live in the C region.
I see. Ah, okay, now I see. Okay, now I see. Okay. That took me a while. That took longer than it should.
Yeah. Where were we?
Bans. What does Saigon Phantom have to take away from? I don't know. Okay, ban the Lancelot, but then what's next?
Yeah, getting rid of junglers is in Saigon's best interest. Oh yeah, actually I feel like Joy has kind of just been not as good lately.
Yeah.
It's still viable, definitely. Does Made in Thailand need more of an assassin or at this point?
Okay, what? Amon or maybe even the Hanzo. Or just pick up a fighter,
Oh, they do
right?
Hanzo. Okay, so targeting assassins, which I think makes sense because based on the draft right now with the Gatot and Lapu already, Made in Thailand probably do need a little bit more damage. If they go something like now, they might have a bit of trouble with DPS overall, especially with a Yi Sun Shin on the opposite side. So they're just getting rid of the assassins.
So a little bit spicy here, Stafa. Someone did get buffed, which can be played in the jungle. And I'm only saying can. I'm not saying it's good. The Harley.
I
don't know if it's good. Let me preface that. The other safe picks besides the Awa is the Suyo as well as the Julian and the Nolan. So there are options. It's just that options that hasn't been good for a while.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. I miss the days when we would see a bit bigger variety of assassins in the jungle. Well, we'll have to see here, because so far Mess has mainly played heroes that are already banned, so he's gonna need to dig deep in his pocket.
Sorry. My bad.
Yeah, they banned the Lunox and the Hare.
But this means that Saigon can just pick up the Ruby or the Granger, which I think both works well with their draft and works against Made in Thailand. But it looks like they're going to pick up the Farsa first. Yeah, because my question was that I think they should have banned something like a Farsa or an Eve just so that the Kimi will have an easier time. That was my my reaction. Oh, someone even said Martis did get buffed. So, hey, maybe?
That's true. That's true. Also, I like your IGN, sir. I'm not gonna say it on broadcast. Yeah, Marcus did get buffed. Is he good? He's actually not terrible, I think, but it's very difficult to play him nowadays.
Hey, you know what? Oh, Lucas. Okay, not in my radar, but okay. Now, what's the goat later going to be? It is going to be a Moskov. So that's going to be their comfort. We'll see how it shapes up.
It does seem like Made in Thailand likes going for the more standard builds. Like double scaling, like from like 2 patches ago-ish. Double scaling, double front line. It's the first time we've seen Lucas in a while. And I don't think he's terrible in this comp. He actually might work fairly well, especially if he's able to get on top of heroes like the Farsa. But Saigon Phantom just has so much damage overall.
And again, their goal laning can be anything. The Granger is still up. The Ruby is pretty solid as well. I think you can just Oh, and they pick up an Xborg. So we're seeing a lot more. Wait. Who's gonna be? Is this a use on gold lane? Oh, now that's gonna be spicy.
It's an export. I think wait, it is. Hold on, yeah, Malik is playing.
Wait, no.
I thought it was export gold.
Wait, no. I mean, like, interfere. No, right? Like,
Yeah,
are they Mzu from Rome to jungle?
Swap player roles. No, I don't think so. Yuzong into Moskov is actually a pretty good combo. Okay,
no,
so
it is export gold.
It is an export gold. Okay.
All right, all good.
Yeah, this is fine.
But yeah, we're definitely seeing a lot more export golds stuff off.
I wonder if this is just the Mekong region's flavor, or if this is actually the new meta, and they're the first ones to show it to the world. Who knows, right? Either way, we're gonna be jumping back into the Land of Dawn, ladies and gentlemen, for game number 2. It is now down to the wire for Made in Thailand. Can they keep themselves in the competition?
Well, it is gonna be an uphill battle for sure. But hey, maybe this is the gambit that they needed. Lucas back into the jungle. Very interested to see how they're gonna be playing this out, because before, Lucas needed a little bit of help. Something like a Matilda to make sure that he can sustain whenever he wants to go in for that all-in fight, because Lucas doesn't have to all-in, but with that Naruto skin, you kind of feel like you're compelled to just stay in the front line, and then whatever happens, happens. If you die, and you recall, you will come back to life later.
Yeah, believe it, Datebayo. Let's see if Mess can bring back the same sort of... My bad. Bring back the same sort of Lucas gameplay we saw in the past. Because I do like Saigon Phantom's draft overall. Their mid trio is very powerful, has really strong rotations. And then I think their side lanes are generally winning as well.
By the way, sorry, Staffa, the cringe was too strong. My body reacted before my mind can process it. Yeah. I wasn't ready for it, you know? So
just treat it as filler.
Yeah. Either ways, right now, at least we don't see a lot of force engages coming in from both teams. But this is pretty difficult for an Arakorn here, because this is a very good freeze that Meow has established. Now Mzu goes in, has to flicker out of there, but he goes back in. What?
Good flicker. Highlights. Already going to be proceeding, and
I genuinely hope it's just a misclick where he does want to dash, but not dash back in and just dash out. Because I think waiting for level 4 before re-engaging might be the better idea. And now the Black Dragon form has been used, and looks like the turtle is going to go for free over to Jawowski, but they want to fight.
Yeah, Jawowski in trouble, but here comes Venom Airstrike, and Meow jumps in. Mass gonna be taken out, and looks like they're still diving in. It's a double kill for the Black Dragon. Aircorn finds Mzu, gets the stun in, but he's surrounded. He will fall. The Sphere of Destruction finishes off Meow as well.
Yep. So overall, that was a very iffy team fight, because I can see the idea. The execution was almost there, but the damage from Farsa was a little bit too much for them to handle. And this is the thing about the Lucas, because you just want to feel like you want to go dive in. The difference between Lucas and the meta assassins right now is that you can get yourself out of a sticky situation. Lucas can't. He has to kind of sustain out of a bad engage. You can't really dash out of a bad engage.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's just his ninja way. Traction Pulse finds Malik TZ, but he still has his Suraga armor, so he's perfectly fine. I do like at least that Made in Thailand is trying to be a bit more aggressive, but on the opposite side of the map, Narakorn going to get 3-man ganked, and this one is successful.
They are not being nice to Narakorn, because he's been shafted by a lot of things. Number one, the minion freeze made it so that he gets his level 4 very late, and now there's like, okay, you're level 4, we're gonna freeze Ish, and then we're gonna kill you, and then a few minions was denied. The EXP card is still there, so not fully I don't know, like being hungered out of a farm, but still not a good time for an EXP.
AOG comes in, Narcon bursts it down, has to flicker out once again, just barely gets away. Here comes the big wolf coming in, but the Tsunami Slam gonna pick up the Lucas, and Jawowski finds the killing spree. The aggression from Saigon still too much.
Yep, and made in Thailand, unfortunately, one of the mistakes here is definitely execution. Sugar, and it looks like he's diving in. He wants to fight. Is that a good idea? I don't think so.
It definitely is not. That is a free mega kill for Ski. Narcon is a bit too late to actually try and fight this. I think Sugar was too tempted by all the targets there. Predator Strike does get things cancelled. Hyde is in some trouble. Malik TZ has come in all the way from the other side of the map. Narcon gonna be taken out. It's killing spree for Jawowski, and Last Insanity sets up the double as well. Murphy finds Mzu, but it's not gonna be a worthy trade.
Looks like Murphy still wants that kill over to Malik TZ. 0367 tries to punish Jawowski, and at least with that play, they are able to delay this turtle. And Sugar has to be careful because I've seen that kind of play coming in from Moskov. But usually I see that kind of play after they've been on TikTok and they see some highlights of Moskov with crazy SODs, and then just having some Jadu in the background, and then you're just compelled to just keep on doing it in the game.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. AOG is a bit too late. Turtle goes over to Saigon Phantom. Spear of Destruction connects with Hyde. Sets up the kill for Narcon. And the Tsunami Slam also gonna get purified away. Made in Thailand fighting back. Meow even goes down to Murphy in the mid lane. And the Last Insanity has already been used. Malik does not have the Paraga armor. He needs to run back over. Gets the burn though. But the double kill goes to Murphy.
I gotta say a few things here. Number one, Saigon Phantom, again, they're just like Malaysia. They gotta throw just a little bit, right? Just to make things a little bit more interesting, make it more even. Because we're gonna be looking at the highlights here. And even though, yes, in the grand scheme of things, Saigon Phantom is in a better position. And I don't know, I kind of feel like Malik TZ, even though he got a kill there, he has to be careful because that could have been much, much worse because that engage cost Mzu his life as well.
Well, we come out of the replay right into another battle. Messa and 0367 just barely escaping with their lives, but being able to keep themselves alive is the important thing right now. If they can slow down the farms of Saigon Phantom, they'll give themselves a little bit more space to scale since they do have two marksmen.
Yep, patch. Looks like chat is asking, are they playing on the new patch or the old patch? This is the new patch, so everything is live. The only thing that they cannot play right now is the Freya, but other than that, all the heroes, all the items has been changed. And now, oh, gets caught.
Whoa, holy, that was so fast. Murphy just disappeared in an instant. Very good shot calling coming in here from Saigon. And that is 15 seconds before the turtle as well.
Yep. Mass, he's thinking about it. He's like, I know there's someone in there, but what if I can outplay it? You can see in his head. He's calculating, what buttons do I press so that I don't die?
Oh, Malik TZ is in trouble. The OG comes in. He's being ganked by 3 people. I don't think he's surviving this one. Mess picks up the kill, but Mzu now going to scout them out with the conceal. Tries to slow them down from reaching the turtle, and that'll allow Jawowski to take it quite easily. Mountain Shocker comes out, forces the revitalize, and both teams will disengage.
Oh, looks like Mzu is able to catch one, and Jawowski is godlike. At this point, I feel like for a made in Thailand, if they can avoid fights, it is for the best. And Black Dragon Form is used. They want to go in for this turret.
Oh, I don't know if Narcon should jump forward. It's a good traction pulse, but it's not quite enough. Narcon is too deep. Legendary on Jawowski. Sugar joins the fight. Actually does manage to set up the kill on Mzu. But Hyde finds the last hit as well. And they'll even trade for Mess. It's 1-4-3. Saigon Phantom still on top.
Right now, Murphy is having a pretty good time. But right now, the Feather Airstrike is being used just to make sure that they are unable to protect this mid-tier 1. It gets taken down, and Jawowski almost gets killed onto Murphy.
He'll just settle for stealing the purple buff instead. Jawowski once again wowing us with his performance. 8-0-5 on the Yisun Shin. Looks like he wants to match up to his Hayabusa gameplay.
Yep. Malik finds Narcorn, zoning him away. denying him of that minion as well. At this point, they're just choking mid in Thailand so that they legit just have nothing. They can't even have scraps. Like, at least let them have scraps.
Well, then Tsunami Slam finds Narakorn. AOG knocks up 2, and the Fender Strike is cancelled by Lucas in the back line. Emzu is already fallen, but Hyde is able to get out thanks to Jawowski and Meow holding the front. They've taken down the Beast. It's a double kill for the Yisun Shin. Murphy 1 hit away from death, and Malik TC flickers forward under the tower. He takes him out. 4 members of Made in Thailand down in an instant.
That was very close. Don't go for it. Just take the turret. And you know it's a bad sign because look at Mess. He had a perfect engage onto Hyde. Every ability hit, and he does not have the damage. You know it's kind of over when your jungler cannot kill after performing everything that he had, even the retribution.
And we come out of the replay just to see Sugar still get caught in the end by Jawowski. That is basically an honorary team wipe. Should set up for an easy lord here for Saigon Phantom. We can already see Emzu zoning out the rest of Made in Thailand. In fact, I'm pretty sure Tsunami Slam found the Gatot, but he will AOG out of there.
Yeah. At that point, Jawowski is just telling his team that he got sugar on his tongue. Wait, no, it sounds better in my head, but that implies a lot of things. Never mind. He got sugar. That's it.
He's so close you can taste him, you know?
Okay, you know what? Let's go with that one, right? Sugar on his tongue so that he can taste the victory. You know, let's roll with that. Thank you. I appreciate the backup.
No worries, man. I got your back. Another engage I can see from the Kalea. Looks like it didn't commit the Tsunami Slam this time around. Doesn't actually need to. They're just zoning them out so that they can take a free tower bot. And Lord is still pushing mid.
That was a bit sus. My bad. I'm very sorry, sir. I cannot say your name. And now Murphy taking quite a lot of damage. But the Holy Defense is going to be used. Hyde still uses the Fed Airstrike, though. Trying to make sure that some psychological damage is hit onto them. It's not like 10,000 gold lead is enough. They got to do a little bit more.
Oh no, Murphy walks up to the wall. Purify is used. AOG as well. Doesn't quite hit anyone. And Tsunami Slam is used to escape. Meow with 2-man Petrify comes in. Mess from flank. Does some good damage, but it's not quite enough. And Malik TC will also flicker out thanks to the Ferraga armor being burnt away. Mess not able to dodge the arrow. Legendary for Jawowski. 12-0 on this Yisun Shin. The top inhibitor will fall. And there's only 3 members of Made in Thailand alive right now.
Oh, and look at that. Emzu still wants to go for more.
Another jump in, finds Tsunami Slam on Narakorn. He's able to dash away. Immortality burned on Emzu, but Narakorn, you can't do this. You're 1v5. He goes down. Spear of Destruction misses as well. Hyde gets caught in the Traction Pulse. But Murphy and Sugar both still need time. They don't have enough items yet.
I think, like, sorry, Staffa, this might be a hot take, but I think it's hard for you to 1v5 when you're 12,000 behind in 12 minutes.
Yeah, I think that is a hot take. I think a lot of people would disagree with you, you know?
Yeah, my bad. But I just have to say, you know, like something inside of me just wants to claw out and just put it to the world. You know, I say to chat, you know, unpopular opinion, you know. I guess I'll go play with myself.
You know very well the vast majority of MLBB players will fight, even if they're 12k behind.
Right now, Conceal being used. This might be the end.
Tsunami Slam finds one. AOG comes in, cancels out the Fendered Airstrike, but it doesn't matter because the damage is already done. Narakorn is already gone. The bottom inhibitor will be melted down. 3-man Petrify comes in. Meow gets a beautiful Dragon Tail setup. Legendary for Jawowski. Sugar goes down. Emzu will be traded, but his job is already done at this point. The minion waves are pushing in. 0367 and Murphy trying to hold the line, trying to keep themselves in tournament, but 0367 melts so quickly. She is legendary, and the crystal will fall. Another clean sweep, this time in hands of Saigon Phantom.
Congratulations to Saigon Phantom with that clean sweep. Now they have 3 points, the same as Leon. So now they will be battling against each other to get the top spot. And look at this, Jawowski again being the MVP and topping his Hayabusa performance roughly the same amount of time, but this time getting 15, 0, and 10.
You know, I was kind of kidding a little bit when I said that he was trying to catch up to his Hayabusa performance, but man actually went and did it and surpassed it on every level as well. Even with the nerfs, this Yisan Shin was unkillable and was so rich as well. Already maxed items quite early on. This was only a 13.5-minute game, and it really goes to show that early game dominance makes a big difference.
Yep, made in Thailand, tried their very best. Even eating banana, because potassium, man, you got to get that potassium inside of you. Pause. Either ways, good try coming in from Thailand, but that is the end of their journey. And this is it. Damage King, DPS machine is Jawowski, frontliner is 0367, and the gold digger is Murphy.
Well, at least we get to see a little bit of representation from Made in time here, with Murphy even actually having a pretty high score in terms of gold earned, but Jawowski really showing himself here. And we already had an eye on this guy even back many months, many years ago, many seasons ago, continuing to improve and honestly suiting the meta pretty well.
Yep. And now again, congratulations to Saigon Phantom. They'll be playing one more game against Leon later on. By the way, chat, you're saying I'm sussy, which is rich coming from you guys considering your name. It's very interesting, and rarely do I see chat and I can't say any of their names. Any.
Yeah, now that you really look at it, there's yeah, let's just leave it at that. But thanks for coming by.
I'm just saying, chat, right? We will have a break later on. Use that break by drinking as much water as you can, because damn, y'all thirsty.
The question is what they're thirsty for, Lafel, because I don't think it's water. Based on the way they've been...
No, water. Speaking of, water is going to be playing later on. So, hey, they are thirsty. Someone's even there keeps saying liquid. They want water.
Oh, yeah. Liquid's not even here. But yeah, congratulations, Saigon. Really good performance there. We'll have one more match to end off day one here. So as per usual, we're going to go on a short break to make sure that both teams are ready. And we will see you guys after this.
こえてくる星がささやく夢特別な今日をとびきりの旅で埋め尽くそう宝物がいつもそばにキラキラと咲くその笑顔五線のリボンぎゅっと結んで花束にしちゃおうベンベンベン重なるハーモニー天真な祝福のリズムその声あなたへ心つなぐこのメロディー遠くても願いを込めて踊ろうよベンベンベンずっとずっとキラリ透き通るきらめき愛で守りたいの道に迷いそうなそんな時は思い出してほしい胸を張って深呼吸して見上げた空に光る星瞬く BPM 想像のできないパーティーが始まるベンベンベン空に打ち上げようシンガーソングその声聞かせて一年に一度大切なお祝いしよう何度だってこの場所で響くファンファレ歌おうよベンベンベンもっともっと星屑インビテーションワクワクしちゃうでしょみんなそれぞれに来年もきっと100年先も一緒に歌おうベンベンベン重なるハーモニー天真な祝福のリズムその声あなたへ心つなぐこのメロディー遠くても願いを込めて
Hello, everyone. We are back in the M Challenge Cup Season 6, where right now this is going to be the final best of 3 for today. And it's going to be Leon going up against Saigon Phantom to determine who will be number 1 and number 2 of Group A. My name is Rafael. Alongside with me is Staffa. And this match, Staffa, we've seen both teams getting 2 O's over MITH in Thailand. So this might be the real test between the teams.
Yeah. Now we get to actually witness which of the teams that we've seen today are genuinely the strongest of the bunch. Unfortunately, it does mean that MITH in Thailand, their journey probably ends here. Now that they've lost both of their group stage matches, they literally cannot make it into the playoffs anymore. So GG well played to MITH in Thailand. They will definitely need to go back to the drawing board, and hopefully we'll see them come back stronger in another tournament. But how about you, Lafel? Personally, between Leon and Saigon Phantom, who do you think has a better shot?
Maybe a little bit of bias because I've seen more of Saigon Phantom. And because of that, I trust them a bit less. Because they tend to throw their lead whenever they get a little bit too comfortable. So Leon, however, has been pretty, I would say pretty clean between both teams. So based on current performance just of today, Leon does look a little bit more clean, but Saigon Phantom's definitely a little bit more explosive. You know what? MITH in Thailand, they could use this time and get dinner because it's only like what 7:47 in Hanoi right now. So you know, take some time, get some food.
Yeah, time to take a break. You know, revisit your performance a little bit later on. Take a break, have a meal. But for these two teams, they're not going to be able to do that just yet. They've still got one more match ahead of them. Our final best of 3 of the day. And yeah, I am excited, but I do also agree with you. I think that Leon does look to be the slightly more consistent team, but Saigon Phantom has very high highs. We've already seen Jawowski go deathless basically the entire series, scoring very well on both of the junglers that he ended up playing. And here we can have a look at the current standings of Group A.
Yep, where both Saigon Phantom as well as Leon Esports have basically 3 full points here. 1 point each, yes, but this is a very simple who's going to be number 1, who's going to be number 2 matchup. And the reason why they want the placements is that being number 1 in Group A means you're fighting against the number 2 of Group B. And I'm just going to say this, where 189 Esports being the runner-up of LNC is pretty impressive, but ESB being like qualified through the Brunei qualifier, and 3V Esports where they got through the Timor-Leste qualifier. Shout out Timor-Leste being a part of Asian now, but still, I would say those regions haven't been the most competitive. So Group B does seem a little bit more easy. So maybe they just want to avoid fighting 189 Esports in the first day of playoffs.
That is possible. After all, playoffs are going to be a single elimination bracket, so you gotta make sure that you get the best matchup there. But now we ask the question, can Leon actually sweep Saigon Phantom the same way that they've done to MITH in Thailand? In Season 5, they were actually able to clean sweep RLG.
Yeah, Radiant's Legend was the one that pushed Saigon Phantoms to all 7 games and eventually win it out. The fact that Leon 3-0'd them, now that does create some concern for Saigon Phantoms here, because the team that defeated them in the previous finals just got 0-3'd by Leon. So this is something that we do have to see, you know, change. I'm not like, hey, you know what? Different meta, man. Different meta that was back in Season 5. So hey, different meta. Things can change.
Yeah, I'm having a quick look as to whether or not the Season 5 RLG Vietnam roster is the same as the one we saw in VMC. And there are some names that are the same, but overall it's actually a very different roster as well. So it's hard to really say if we can use that as reference. In fact, I think the name that remained was Ashrit. Everyone else is basically different. So hard to really say what the difference in power level is going to be. And now we get to actually see that in person.
We'll be seeing it very, very soon. And we're going to be checking out mostly on the draft here, because I kind of feel like you got to be careful of the jungler for both teams, because again, as of right now, the gold lane does not seem to be, unless it's higher for Granger, not that big of an impact just yet. So most of the focus is going to be shifted towards EXP and jungle, but I feel like just a little bit more on jungle because of how Joga really has that clutch factor in him.
Yeah, Joga definitely seems to be a playmaker style jungler, which is always fun to see. And someone in chat actually also points out a very interesting fact that both of these teams have PH imports. In fact, these are the only two teams in the whole tournament with Filipino imports, both having 2 players, which on the side of Leon is Lamaj and Jinzu, and then for Saigon Phantom is Malik and Mzu. So we're gonna get to see a little bit of a PH brawl as well.
Yep, down in the gold lane as well. But something that I do have to remind you is actually Juviana, where in the previous game, especially on that Arlet, did make a lot of plays. So I really feel like the side lanes is something that we really have to look out for. Lamaj going up against Mali, I really feel like it depends on the heroes, because if it's just fighter against fighter, maybe not a lot of brawls will happen in lane. Most of it is going to be around the turtle. But yeah, honestly, after Leon's previous performance, I'm looking forward to see Juviana. He was amazing on the Arlet. I want to see what else he has.
Yeah, I really like Juviana's game. It's always good to set up EXP laner. We have a few of those in MPL Malaysia, and it's always a pleasure to see them work. If we're talking about EXP laners though, Meow also had a very stellar performance, especially on that Alice. So side lanes are just looking strong for this particular matchup, and it's going to be fun to see what happens. Also, now that I'm looking at Wikipedia, I'm realizing both of the imports are in the same positions for both teams.
Yep. Both Rome as well as gold. So, hey, maybe that's just the way you do in the Mekong region. Everyone has their own flavor. This is their flavor. It's far from Mekong.
Oh, it's a good flavor.
Vietnam, but can we see it's from Mekong?
I think it's a good flavor. I mean, we've already seen that it does work, you know? So I'm looking forward to a good matchup here, and hopefully a good capstone to finish off day 1 as well. We've already had a pretty explosive day 1 of the MCCM Season 6. For anyone who didn't catch the previous games, make sure you guys go check that out. Both these teams have already shown us they are very capable, objectively speaking.
In terms of I would say the standings, because you did say the previous one that Leo won 3-0, it was a very different lineup, and I'm guessing that lineup did not have the imports, right? It doesn't have Pancake, and there was one other import. I can't remember who, but that's actually a pretty interesting line there. Right, it was Pancake. And
they did not have Pancake, but they did have Ashrit. Like, Ashrit was the other import, and he was actually part of that roster.
Okay, so they just didn't have Pancake at the time, but that does mean that maybe just for both teams, looking to be the strongest and both having Filipino imports, I feel like really helping them out in the macro, or at least in terms of the decision making, which is again pretty interesting. Maybe that's why both teams imported a Filipino roamer, just to make sure that whenever they're moving around the map, it makes sense.
Yeah, it does help a lot, and we've already seen that both these teams are quite good in terms of their early rotations. That's the whole reason why we didn't really see Made in Thailand get any chance to actually play the game, because those first few minutes were already so solid in general. And then also having a PH player in the gold lane helps a lot. We have some teams here in MPLMY who we can say benefit from that in particular. So it's going to be interesting, right? We've already gotten the chance to see how the PH style slots in with gameplay from the Mekong region. How far can it go, right?
And James, this isn't a new league. This is the M Challenge Cup Mekong, and in fact, it is the 6th season here. And just in case if you guys are curious, the teams aren't just playing for money, but they're also playing for a slot in the wild card in M7. So being qualified for the wild card already means that you're going to be traveling over. Maybe it's in Jakarta, maybe it's in somewhere else. It hasn't been confirmed just yet what the wild card is going to be. But in any case, this time is a little bit different because 2 teams from the wild card, not just one, 2 teams will be advancing from the wild card going to M7. So it is exciting times. After this tournament has been done with, it will be about 2 months-ish before we get to the wild card in M7. So qualify now and then figure out what strategies you might have to pull out later on during the wild card itself.
Yeah, considering that it's still a couple months away, we might have another big patch before M7 even starts. So could be a completely different scene already, but just getting your foot through the door is going to be very, very important here. And I do like that the wild cards will have an extra slot this time around because, well, I feel like a lot of developing regions are actually just getting stronger and deserve a chance to show off their stuff on the main stage.
And honestly, personally for me, Stafa, even if they don't make it to M7, I really feel like certain teams, they just need to get that injection of what other regions really bring to the table, because there's something to talk about when we're talking about experience, right? Because yes, every single region, whenever they do scrim against other regions, not against their own team, but every region has restriction when it comes to connection, right? Like, for example, you can't just willy-nilly scream against EECA, which is a very strong region, especially when we're talking about the side laners. Names like Kid Bomba as well as Hiko will bring up to the mind. But when you go into an international tournament, even if you don't make it to the M7 stage, there's an opportunity that you can scrim against these teams, and that in a way could really open up your eyes to multiple ways to do things in the game. So going to international, win or lose, is a very big bump for your career as a player and as an organization.
It's a very necessary step in the development of any pro player or org, like you mentioned, right, Lafel? Being able to even step foot on these big stages, to have a chance to meet these international players, people who have earned accolades and achievements throughout the years, and get to see things from their eyes, hear things from their lips, makes a huge difference. And that international experience is a priceless commodity that any team would want a chance to have.
And food. Although I would say that depends on the region. Some region just has bomb food. Other regions have bomb food, but bad bomb. Bombs are bad. Don't play with bombs. I don't know if I should say that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No,
Malaysia, the food is going to be great. Oh, that's a good question.
Yes.
Going to Indonesia, good food, sure. But they're very spicy. And I don't think a lot of people can handle that.
Yeah, that includes me. So.
Oh, come on, stop. Eat ayam gepok.
No, dude, this is not a case of my mouth. This is a case of my stomach.
In the wise words of a man in orange, Hiya, why so weak? Why so weak?
I would like to ask the same question, man in orange. I would like to know that as well. I would love to eat some good old spicy food without needing to relegate myself to the bathroom later on. But well, that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes, isn't it?
Spicy cookie. Do they have medication for that for people that can't eat spicy food? Because if you're
good question.
Right? Do they have it?
They probably.
You guys love spicy food? See, chat loves spicy food, man.
I would like it as well if it didn't, make me expel my bowels,
Let me just tell you, Stafa. Something that really helped me overcome the spiciness of spicy food is that instead of rejecting pain, learn to enjoy it. It's something that I do growing up. Whenever I get punished, I just start to enjoy it. You know, like whenever I'm getting like caned and stuff, instead of complaining, I'll just be like, "Hey, thanks, man," and just go about my day.
Yeah, LaFell growing up saying, "Hit me again, daddy."
No, no. Don't say it like that. No, not like that. The chat is already sussy. I don't need you to throw flame. Whatever, man. Draft is up. What, bro? You're just feeding into chat, man.
Hey, you know, we're here for chat, LaFell. Like, that's why we're here in the first place. We would not be here if not for chat. Sometimes we just gotta wing it.
Sure, man. The things you say today makes me react physically and spiritually.
I sure hope no one clips that.
Well, at this point, I hope they do. Either way, right now Leon bans all junglers, and then Saigon Phantom a mixer, banning out a Fanny, the Grok, as well as the Kimmy, and I really feel like that's a pretty good one to ban out. The Lancelot is still up. I don't know if they want to prioritize that or they want to pick something up. What other good options as the first pick here? Cool name for the coach, by the way. CC.
CC, I guess,
cool,
is a
cool
safe
coach name, right?
opening. I don't know what it means, but it does sound cool.
Trequartista. There you go.
I sure hope we didn't butcher that.
Can he just be like John or something?
Nah, I think that would be, you know, you're not respecting culture.
True. Sounds pretty Mexican.
Like, imagine if like someone came up to you and asked you if they could call you like Larry.
That would be so funny. I might accept it. There's a few funny names out there: Larry, Gary, and Bob.
Yeah, I was hoping Bob would be on that list. I feel like that's just the ultimate funny name.
Yeah. And now, looks like the Lancelot was ignored by Saigon Phantom, so giving Leon the option to pick it up. In fact, Leon has a pretty good combo here. Staffa having the CC, Gatot, and the Lance. This is a very strong opening from Leon.
Yeah, very solid lead here. This will give him good EXP lane advantage. CC can also be flexed into gold depending on the situation, since Lance does actually scale pretty okay. Gatot does ideally want to be paired with a strong mid laner so that they can take advantage of a higher clear, but he is also a counter to the Kalea, so they do already have some solutions here.
Speaking of which, Saigon Phantom should probably ban out the Jushin later on. If there's any jungler open right now, I think they're going to go for it. If not, it will probably get banned out later. They do pick up the Hive. They want to prioritize that. So maybe ban one mid laner and one gold laner. And for Leon, maybe just ban out the existing junglers next, right? Something like a Fredrin. I'm not so sure about that guy, but I feel like at least ban out the Fredrin.
Yeah, I think Fredrin would be really good here for Saigon. The CC would help. It would set things up for both Harith and Eve. What other... Like, I do kind of wish the jungler pool was a little wider nowadays. And I feel like we're only really seeing Lance, Haya, Joy. For Saigon, it's possible, but I don't really like it already.
Yeah, a lot of magic damage. But either way, Jushin does get banned, and the Fredrin does get banned as well. The other bans here that they can consider might be a Pharsa, but I kind of feel like a lot of heroes can deal with the Pharsa quite well. Maybe ban out a Granger might be a safe ban, forcing the CC to actually go into gold.
That is possible. But then you could still go into things like Ruby or even Esme. I feel like Esme would actually be quite scary right now. Esme gold.
Yep.
Into the Harith and the Eve.
Yeah, honestly, that's a good shout. Esme is a pretty good ban here. But yeah, as long as they ban something in the side lane, I think it's serviceable. Granger, they ban on the Arlet, which also I think is completely fine considering what Joviana did with the Arlet earlier.
That's fair, but I feel like Saigon have actually picked the Arlet themselves. Right? They have first pick red in red phase. It works really well with the E. We've already talked about the broomstick stats all the way back when Arlet was first introduced. Yu Zong gonna be banned by Leon, so heavy focus towards the EXP lane right now.
Yeah, the most offensive EXP I can think of right now is the Lapu. Other than that, it's purely like defensive. Picking up the Phoveus is going to be dangerous because they can just put CC in the EXP and then you're kind of done. Options like Glue is solid, but again, not really damage E. EXP, I kind of feel like there are some options, but not aggressive options. So you might still need a damage dealer in the jungle. Maybe pick up a fighter here. I'm just not sure what.
I've seen teams go like Uranus into CC just to hold the lane. I don't really like it, and I'm glad they didn't go for it. They go for the Phoveus, which is also smart because it denies it away from Leon just in case they were looking to counter the Haru.
But again, it's not a good matchup against the CC. So Leon does have an option where they could put CC in the EXP and then, like you said, pick up an Esmeralda in the gold, or safer pick up a Granger. But they pick up the Alice instead, which also is a pretty good matchup against the Phoveus. It's kind of the same as Hylos going up against the Phoveus, where you just stay around and just deal that dot damage.
Yeah, I thought that Esme would be really good here since it also counters Phoveus now, but they do need a more reliable form of setup since AOG alone is a little bit difficult to depend on, so I really like the Alice. And then the Lunox comes out as a last bit. I really like Leon's draft.
Dude, it's A tier, S tier. Like, this is looking like an international draft, man. So Saigon, we gotta see the jungle. Again, someone did say Martis. A few junglers have been buffed, and Martis is a fighter. Not so sure, like, it could honestly work. It could honestly work, especially when Alice dives in, and somehow the Martis just has enough damage to deal with the Alice. You can get multiple kills there. But instead, they go for the Guinevere, another utility jungler. It could work. It could honestly work, but I really feel like Leon has the easier draft to execute.
Yeah, I think Saigon, unfortunately, we're kind of left without a lot of good picks in any case, right? I wouldn't really say that Guinevere is particularly good in this matchup, but it's one of the better options they have left because the jungler pool right now just feels very small.
Let me just say, these days, for me to get information, I go onto TikTok. There's a lot of reliable information on the internet stuff. And something that I've seen is the Kalia and Guinevere combo. But it kind of only works if the Guinevere goes damage. At least one damage item where Kalia uses a slam, knocks everyone up, and that's a free knockout for the Gwyn just to follow up with a Violet Requiem. So hey, maybe that's the combo, right? Kalia knock up first, and then let the Gwyn follow up, and easy peasy wipe out Savage.
True, that is a possibility, but we'll see whether or not that combo actually comes into play as, ladies and gentlemen, we're jumping back into the Land of Dawn. It's going to be the final best of 3 of the day, and Mzu already taking a lot of damage here. Will Leon or Saigon Phantom cement themselves as the top dog of Group A?
Yep. Very difficult to go up against both Lunox as well as Kimmy in the mid. This is why only those two mid laners are essential for playing a double fighter lineup, which I completely forgot about the Lunox. Maybe instead of Arlet, they should have banned the Lunox, but either way, right now, Leon, looking at all the lanes, they're controlling every single lane because we see that even Meow trying to freeze the wave, he can't do it because it's already shoved inside of his turret and there's nothing else that he can do to save that. So Leon on all 3 lanes is winning out quite a lot here, Staffa. Already a very good start.
In general, just based on the draft, Leon is going to have better early lane pressure, and that'll allow them to rotate a little bit more easily. The only way Saigon Phantom can try to break this is to do the Kalea Guinevere combo that you talked about, right? If they're able to catch people out by themselves, if they can get a pick off early on and secure the first turtle, then they can reverse that momentum.
Yeah, I feel like the best opportunity they will have is around the turtle fight, which is going to spawn in just a few seconds here. But it really is all about execution. It's very cool when it happens, but trying to make it happen, especially in a pro setting, now that's going to be challenging.
Especially against Leon, they've already shown that their positioning is pretty on point. Here we can see a big good battle, already a bit of a turtle dance. The taunt comes in, RLM can be used. The Flicker Dark Wave only gets one knockup. Water is inside the pit. Juviana also in the back line, trying to deal with the damage. Water actually ends up going down. Emzu picks up the first blood. Agi trades from Meow, but that means Jawowski gets a free kill on the turtle. Juviana can be traded. Agi with the double kill. Jawowski goes down. It is an all-out 5v5 brawl. Malik TZ with the double, but Agi is the one who comes out on top with the triple kill on the Lunox.
That was a lot going on in that fight. In the first instance they meet against each other, it's an equal trade of 3 and 3. Bodies, 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 bodies. Everyone dropping down where neither side really wants to show any signs of weakness, where we can see a little bit of overextension coming in, especially coming in from Malik. But the fact that he died once, yes, but he got 2 kills in return might be worth it in the long run. So that was already an intense start in this best of 3. Definitely much different already compared to the first 2 series of the day.
But I feel like Leon does still end up coming out on top a little bit there, even though they lost the turtle. Agi securing the triple kill and not dying like Malik did means that he's actually close in farm to the enemy gold laner as a mid lane. And we know that Lunox is going to be one of the main late game scalers for Leon as well.
Yep. Juviana looks like the first item is going to be the Oracle instead of building up into the Curse Helmet. So looking for a little bit more sustain. And Throne of Ruin. Just to intimidate. That's the way that they think, man. They're just gonna throw it to intimidate their opponent. That's how you win the lane.
He definitely thought Meow was in that bush. Unfortunately, he wasn't. But since the next turtle is still like 15 seconds away, it should come back off cooldown. So why not use it? If he was able to catch the Phobius, it would have been valuable. If not, no harm done.
It's kind of a whatever burger at that point. Now we might go for another brawl here because look at this stuff. Everyone is in the vicinity. The EXP lane is just gonna be a 4v4 of minions. Let's see which minion is better.
Lamaj is in trouble. Tsunami Slam right into the Guinevere. That's the combo. AOG comes in, only finds Emzu. RWM also gonna be dropped down. A 2-man taunt right into the fan execution. The damage from Leon is building up, but they already are down 1 member. Water chasing down Hyde, but he's able to get away. And now Water is left all by his lonesome. Agi pick a kill, but they've lost their jungler. That ends up being 1-for-1. Juviana still in the middle of things, trying to hold out, not allowing Saigon to reach the turtle.
Yeah, Water has to be very careful here. He's 0, 2, and 1. Jawowski is already 0, 1, and 5. So even though both junglers doesn't have a kill, but one is definitely farmed up ahead more than the other. And he should be noticing that his team has an easier time protecting Agi than protecting Water. So he wants to go for those cool plays. Respectable, but check your timings.
Tsunami Slam onto Lamaj once again into the Violet Requiem, and the CC is down. Juviana secures the turtle, but they've lost 2 members in exchange.
Yeah, but again, man, Juviana is the one that you really got to look out for. A playmaker, the kind of guy that will use the Throne of Ruin just because he can. That's the kind of flexing. That's the kind of aura farmer that could potentially push Leon all the way, even though Saigon Phantoms has the advantage right now.
Honestly, Juviana is aura farming. I'm gonna be honest. I like using this name in play-by-play. It just feels cool to say. So more cool plays, please. But so far, Saigon Phantom holding on to a slight gold lead. It's only about 500 though, so we can see that these teams so far pretty evenly matched.
Oh yeah, evenly matched. Definitely. The only one that I would say needs to step up is definitely Water. Or step down, meaning like don't be too aggressive. Let your opponents come to you, right? Because you gotta be like Water, be more flexible. Because right now he's playing like fire. You know what I mean?
If you didn't say that, I would have said it. I was setting up to be like Water.
Yeah, but maybe this time it's like, okay, don't be yourself, man. Don't be yourself. Be a little bit more calm.
All right, where were we? Well, Water is in the bottom.
Okay, you know what? Now I want them to be in wildcard so that we can use that.
Yeah, honestly, that would be very, very interesting. I think there's a lot we can work with a name like Water. We're not making fun of it, just to let you guys know. Please don't tell him.
Okay, right now MZU already taking a lot of damage, and Juviana goes in but gets knocked up.
Oh, Jawowski not committing the Violet Requiem. Meow trying to jump in on the Lunox, but Agi able to pop the Brilliance and get out. And now he's just surrounded. Throne of Ruin finishes Meow off. High joins the fight. Ardley ML said he cancel. Violet Requiem only finds one, but the damage is building up. Lamaj unfortunately going to be the victim of the single time. But if it sets up for the rest of his team, it is very worth. Jawowski is no longer able to continue the fight. Has to back off to the mid lane, and this should be a free turtle for Leon.
Again, very impressive here, especially coming in from Agi, coming in from Juviana. They're giving a lot of space. This time, Water doesn't go, balls to the wall and actually get himself killed. So right now, Leon getting that lead. As of right now, both teams have not secured any turrets so far. So that is also something to be said of their discipline, making sure that no matter what rotation they do, never let a turret go unguarded.
So far, Leon doing a great job of holding their position, and we already pointed out before the game started that they look to be the more consistent team. So the moment I say that, Lamaj getting ganked by 3 people once again, and Violet Requiem is committed. Lamaj goes down, AOG a bit too late. Now MZU going to scout out Juviana. They're looking to chase down the Guinevere, but Jawowski actually escaping all of it, and now Agi the one that has to use the Purify to escape the Tsunami Slam.
Yep. Honestly, very impressive coming in from Jawowski. It looks like doesn't matter giving him a fighter, a assassin, he'll make amazing plays. He is honestly very, very impressing me right now. Ooh, MZU timed that pretty well, but still Water was able to get out of there.
He didn't have the Tsunami Slam anyway, so even if the knockup connected, it's quite likely that Water could have escaped. But we can see Saigon Phantom starting to up the pressure. This is the point where their composition is actually pretty scary, where both Kalea and Guinevere are able to make individual catches. Leon has to be quite careful with their positioning.
Again, especially Water and Lamaj being like a 1-4-3 also shows that this CC is not as sustainable as we saw like just weeks ago, especially against a composition that has a lot of control. Meow is getting punished, honestly, but not that much. So the moment Saigon Phantom is able to catch Agi, I think that's a very good window for them to win the game. But the way that Agi has been playing, they're waiting for that Purify to go off cooldown, and at that point, probably Agi will not make a mistake. And as I say that, probably going to be the first one to die later.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that. But it is true that Saigon's main target is going to be this Lunox. At this point, they've already done a great job of disrupting Lamaj's farm. And Water is also a little bit behind. So Agi in the mid lane is the only one they need to be worried about. And if they can find him, it would present a big shift in the game overall, as Saigon's still farming up pretty solidly.
Now the Lord looks like is going to be the big contest here. Water now having the endless battle. So I think Saigon Phantom hasn't noticed that just yet. This is going to be a big burst of sudden basic attack coming in. So they do have to be wary of that. All 5 members of both teams are around the Lord vicinity. Something that they do have to be careful of for Leon is definitely the sudden jump coming in from Jawowski as well as MZU. The fact that they have map, I would say, priority here is pretty scary for Leon. Leon has a very small gold advantage that should not give them any kind of confidence to move up.
I think that Jinsu might need to position a little bit more aggro. I think Leon is also waiting for the top wave to push in a little bit more, but Lamar is going to be the first one to jump in, instantly gets Tsunami Slam. RWM comes out, Throne of Ruin is good though! Amazing setup from Juviana, and the Violet Requiem is just not available just yet. Water looking for Jawowski, misses the Torn Rose, he's going to get chased down. M2 is somehow able to escape. Malik TZ with the double kill. He's already found the Lancelot. Water is down. Juviana though doing a great job of keeping them away, even with all 5 members of Saigon still alive. They're not in any state to fight. Jinsu gets found by Malik with the Summon Force, but Conceal allows him to escape. What this means though is that Juviana going to be left basically alone in front of the Lord Pit, and that's a dangerous position.
I gotta say, Staffa, rarely do I see the EXP laner telling the gold laner to sacrifice yourself so that I can make a play, but hey, that's what happened and Agi dies! Malik gets a shutdown!
Tsunami Slam pulls in the Alice. The Lord has already been taken, but the Throne of Ruin reverses the battle. Milwaukee goes down. M2 going to be picked off, but the RWM is still available. Hyde sets things up. Meow picks off Lamage once again. And that is going to be a Lord for Saigon Phantom.
Agi was not the first to die, but still died. So Agi, my bad G, but let's look at this team fight, right? Where it's good coming in from Saigon Phantom, understanding that they already have a lead, especially when it comes to the members around the Lord, and they basically forced that one. Leon tried to fight back where they really shouldn't, because they're at a very big disadvantage when it comes to the numbers, and they heavily paid for that. Speaking of which, I really want to see Meow's item. He was able to sustain quite a while. I'm not so sure if he's building the War Axe, because that is something that people has been doing, going up against the CC, where you're just fighting all the time. But with the War Axe, you can just sustain a little bit more and basically make it more even.
Oh, Tsunami Slam, they found a Lancelot. They're going to throw him right into Violet Requiem, and Water is down. It's a killing spree for Hyde. The RWM is locking down Leon. EOG defensively, but that means all the frontliners are already taken out. Lamage, Pop the Vengeance, just barely keeps himself in, but Malik Tizzy is unstoppable. Double kill. Agi falls for the second time, and Saigon Phantom is running through Leon Esports. The bottom inhibitor now vulnerable. They're gonna get as many towers as possible.
Nice from Meow. This is real friendship, taking a few tower shots so that you can let your friend get out of there. But this is going to be a post-game analysis where we got to talk about the damage profile and the possibility of the drafts coming in from Leon here. You should be afraid here because it's taking way too much damage. Anyway, quick analysis. The fact that Water is a non-factor in the fight. Leon does not have enough damage. The damage profile isn't really there. Looking at the items here, yes, there is a War Axe. So my analysis was correct. This is how you deal going up against a CC. The fact that the CC is not having a good game, having a 2, 7, and 4 solidifies that even more. So Meow is not going to get punished just because, yes, he has a good position, but having that War Axe, especially his damage is more AoE compared to the CC, made it so that it's a non-factor. He's able to sustain much longer than he should have.
And you know what makes it worse? I think Leon only has one anti-heal item among the entire team. I think there's only one glowing wand. I didn't see a single dominance ice, which is incredible considering how much the item was buffed. So that adds even more into the issue of them not being able to take out the members of Saigon.
That is very interesting. So a lot of analysis is going to be happening right after this. Joviana looks like still going to get caught.
They're all alone. Once again, the Kalea Guinevere combo. The AOG is good, but it's too late. It's already gone. The Alice is down, and no one else can back up Jinsu. Meow with the double kill.
And now even Meow having that dominance ice, make it so that you don't really get punished if you go for the pursuit. Being surrounded by 5, even if you die, it's going to take a whole long time. And at this point, hey, maybe Water should build that because he's been surrounded multiple times. Pause, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of surprised that Jinsu doesn't have anti-heal. There's definitely things that need to be worked on here. Either way, the goal difference is still at 4K in favor of Saigon Phantom. And they do have Lord pushing out the lane. And this is going to be a scary one to defend.
Yep. Right now we have 4,000 goal lead here, and Saigon Phantoms having 19 kills over to 8. The Lord marching down. I don't think they can end it right here, but if they can get at least one inhibitor, this is going to be huge for Saigon Phantoms.
Looks like they should be able to go the Dream Man! Violent Requiem! Tomowski! Dismantles Leon in an instant, but the Throne of Ruin is still there. Jubiana keeping themselves alive. And in an instant, it looks like damage has actually reversed itself. Tomowski still alive, trying to chase down Water. Jubiana trying to buy time. The Lord will eventually fall, but it's already done some damage. And Malik TZ pops the summon force. He's aiming for the objective. And he secures the end game. Game 1 goes to Saigon Phantom.
Cassacurs works in many miraculous ways. When I say like, oh, I don't think they can end it here. Hey, there we go. Game's over. I should stop reporting before it happens because it is having the reverse effect. But there's a lot to talk about here, Stafa. Let's start with talking about Leon. Is it really okay for them to use double fighters, especially with CC, the nerf? For me, it actually is kind of big because losing your stack before it would take 1 whole second for you to lose a stack. Right now, 0.3 seconds. You know how fast 0.3 is? That was 0.3. So they cannot keep up the stack. So this CC is not as dangerous as before. So maybe if they do want to go for a double fighter, they have to go for a different fighter. The problem is, today's the patch. They did not have enough time to really think about it. But the Granger was left open. They could have picked up the Granger and deal with the Harif and then just fight fire with fire. You have late game scaling. I have late game scaling.
Personally, I don't actually think the issue was with the CC itself. While it's true that CC stacks DK a lot quicker now, I think that she is still a very valid hero and still a very good scaling fighter. I think the big issue came from the fact that the gold lane was getting ganked really, really hard. Basically, every single time the Kalea had ult, every single time the Guinevere had ult, Lamaj was getting ganked. And then unfortunately, I don't really know why they were sending CC out first to open the map when you have heroes like Alice and Gatot. I felt like once Lamaj got shafted in the beginning of the game, they just decided, well, you don't do anything anymore. You can be the sacrificial pawn, but I'm not sure if that's the right call.
No, honestly, I think that is the call because it's like, hey, you're not doing anything anyways. Might as well open the map because he jumps in current calls and then is hoping for the best. So yeah, he is initiating the current call so that the Gatot actually has a way, not just the Gatot as well as the Alice having this big AoE initiation, right? The reason why I was calling out for the CC is that it was very evident that they don't have enough damage. But again, it could be more onto Saigon Phantoms just shutting down the win condition because Water didn't get to play, as well as what's the name? Well, the gold laner couldn't get any time to play as well. So this really is about making sure that, yeah, Agi is doing well, but let Agi be the only one that does well. And the moment Agi dies, that's basically it. That's GG. So Juviana had an amazing game, but it's unfortunate that Juviana is the only one that really had an amazing game. And Agi was good, but at some point, even Agi is like, bro, I can't do much anymore. I can't do much. My ult is over.
I think Agi started making some blunders as well. Personally, I'm not actually going to blame Lamaj for this loss, even though he definitely has the worst score overall. It was very obvious that he was being targeted hard. If anything, I actually think that Water made the biggest blunder out of them all, because you've already lost one of your scaling, which is your CC gold lane, and for some reason, this Lancelot caving in before his team, not respecting the catch potential of a gear, of locking himself into the box. It felt like Water was positioning very dangerously, and then when his usefulness dipped, then Agi felt like he had to position forward to actually do damage, which ended up being a very cascading effect.
Actually, now this opens up a very interesting discussion here, because now I'm looking at the draft coming in from Saigon Phantom. It does feel like a anti-assassin draft, where there's multiple ways that you have crowd control to really stop your opponent, and one of them is that Phoveus. Now, what if the reason why assassins have been popping up a lot more is because the natural predator, like the Phoveus, isn't really a part of meta. And now, when the CC got nerfed, again, I understand what you say, Lamash is not a big thing, but if CC doesn't punish heroes like the Phoveus as much, and if the Phoveus builds a War Axe, it is a non-factor anyway. What if Phoveus slowly gets back into the meta and then it starts becoming a problem again, especially with the buff of the Dominance Ice, where even if he dies, it's going to take such a long time, and then we really have to refigure out what are the best assassins to go up against a potential draft like Saigon Phantoms.
I could definitely see potential for Phoveus returning to the meta, but I would also say that Phoveus has never truly been completely out of the meta in the first place. He just became more of a niche pickup. He has always been a hero that's very good when you're ahead, doesn't do a lot when you're behind. And this was a case where his team was clearly ahead and he actually faced the farm up to become an absolute nuisance. So I think it's a bit early to, this is the return of Phoveus, is gonna completely shift up the meta. Maybe with a little more sample size we can say for sure. But I am not going to put that yet.
Looking at the builds here, and yeah, there is anti-heal for Lamage, but again, that's probably later in the game. No anti-heal coming in from Jinzu. Yeah, like you said, the lack of anti-heal, even from Juviana, might actually hurt them quite a lot. So that is something that they have to revisit, especially with the changes of Dominance Ice. It actually does become quite a good item, even if you want to pick it up as your first item, because it's hybrid defense, right? You kind of solve multiple damage sources with just one item. I guess the only exception is if you want to Dreadnought early against certain assassins.
I thought should have built into Dominance Ice. I feel like he went a bit too far getting both Patina and Radiant. Because yes, they do a lot of magic damage, but you have to remember, Dom Ice has magic defense now. They've changed the item. It's universal. There's no reason not to get it to help with some of the anti-heal. And it even works for heroes like Alice, because now it has a new effect where the more people are near, the more enemies are near you, the more defense you get. So I don't really know why they didn't get more anti-heal.
I mean, like, again, just to be fair, it is the first day. They legit only had a few hours to test things out. So maybe, like, even if they look back, like, say the coach tells them, why didn't you guys build Dominance Ice? Like, bro, what are you talking about, right? I think it takes a while because old habits die hard. But yeah, they gotta be quicker. They gotta be quick, yeah.
But Dom Ice has always been the anti-heal tank item. That's not a new thing, you know? I feel like even like before this patch update, you might want to consider
coming from me
for this game.
Coming from me as a roamer, I will not build before this. I will not build Dom Ice until my third or fourth item, even if the enemy has multiple ways to heal. Just because one of our job is to be that front line. No, really, like legit. Like I play roam, dude. Like trust me. You only really build Dom Ice is if there's no more threat for you, right? So usually how you build is Dreadnought, Magic Robe, Silence Robe, and then build up to whatever is the biggest problem that the opponent has, and then eventually go for that Dominance Ice, because there's a lot of tank items that benefits your team more than you. One of them is Dominance Ice, but you don't need it that early. But now it's such a big difference because, again, it makes you tanky. And that's what Dominance Ice does not help you with before. So players really need to shift this because, trust me, even coaches kind of don't like their players building dominance ice early.
Really?
That actually became a big issue. Yeah, no, it was a big issue before.
This is actually news to me. I had no idea.
No, it was all
this.
over TikTok.
Huh. Wow,
Yeah.
because now I'm wondering if I've been itemizing wrong, because when I play Roamer, I quite like going down like for a second item.
I do go second item, but it's usually when I'm solo ranking, where my mid just doesn't build the glowing one. But hey, there you go. A lot of adjustments have to be made where now affairs are no legit. I play tank, and it's just something that you really have to readjust to, because high rank people kind of flame you for building dominance ice early, but now they can't do that. Now you gotta build dominance early.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. This is actually new information for me. You would think that like after all this time I would know this, but hey, that's what happens when one roll. Okay, interesting. But yeah, I think more anti could have been useful here for the side, because there's so much shielding, there's no ling, especially with Phobia's War Axe as well. Hopefully we get to see a bit of a shift there, and maybe a care for their...
Yeah. By the way, hold on. What do you mean first W? Okay, like what do you mean first? Okay, I'm pretty sure we had a few W's before, both me and Staffa, especially Staffa. Some of the L's are actually W's because it made me cringe physically. But either ways, yeah. This is an amazing thing. This is an amazing thing, Staffa, where we thought Leon is the cleaner team. They could have won. And hey, Cassicers, man, maybe we should not predict who's gonna win, huh?
Yeah, it does. The funny thing is, it feels like it only happens to me when I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I've been watch parties of the other MB time. I say like this draft looks incorrect. So
well, let me just say, I guess I bring the dog out of you. And maybe the dog should stay in. I bring the worst out of people, Staffa. That's what my family keeps saying to me. I'm the problem.
I see.
I'm having less friends.
It's probably totally hit you.
Wait, what?
Moving on. Alright, happening in game number 2 now. What do we think is going to happen in game number 2?
What's going to be happening in game number 2?
Yeah.
Well, anyways, for me, it really is all about adjustment, because I really want to see how, for both teams, honestly, how they're going to readjust, because I feel like even though Saigon Phantoms did win, but I feel like they themselves cannot be too honest with the draft, where game number 1, it was very sus all the way to the end, but then once you see the game happening, once you see the idea where just shut down the damage dealers, that hey, it all looks amazing. And Joviana is a very good carry for the team, so now we know Leon can have a good start. Just got to know how to finish. So maybe Leon, in the time that they have, they need to practice being nice to other people. Help old ladies walk the street, give some food to cats and dogs, because as we know, nice guys, they finish last. So maybe they just want to be a little bit nice and be the final ones to get all those kills later on. I don't know if that makes sense, but hey, roll with it, man.
I'm gonna be honest. I think I'm lagging. I think I've been lagging, and I literally only started like coming back stable when you said like that's what I think.
Okay, like, well, you know what?
So I have no idea
that
what
shows,
you just said.
That shows how little my opinion means. It's just God's way of telling. It's like, you don't need to listen to him, man. Like, come on, shut up.
Or maybe your
but either way,
was so powerful that my internet could not handle it.
And you know what? things happen for a reason, man. God is all powerful. Someone did say sometimes it's good to finish last, and that's why I'm saying maybe be the nice guys, Leon. So let's just make this very simple, right? What does Leon focus on more? Those early skirmishes where you're so far ahead it doesn't matter what you do, or understand that Saigon Phantom is a very explosive team. So be prepared to go to 15 minutes, 60 minutes, 70 minutes, and just play around that. Because I kind of feel like the early game was good-ish, but it's just Saigon Phantom able to really recuperate, and that made things difficult.
Yeah, I think we've already seen that Saigon Phantom is capable of making some really impressive performances overall, right? Like, especially certain players are very bombastic. I think Jawowski has already proven that he's capable of playmaking a lot of the time, but Malik has also shown that he's also quite strong in that regard. In comparison, we've only really seen Juviana make like superhero plays on the opposite side. And personally, I think it's better if a team doesn't need to rely on superhero plays, but you cannot deny the impact that they create, right? Sometimes the team that is more stable does just get the rug pulled out from under them because one player decides, I'm gonna lock in right now.
Oh yeah, for sure. Speaking of locking in, let's talk about Jawowski, man. Like he's not doing like 10 kills, 8 kills, but still on that Guinevere, there were a couple of moments where I don't think it was instinct, it was just pure reaction, where reaction timing, he goes in and he almost get bursted down so fast. I thought he was gonna die, but he was able to get out of there very, very quickly and basically save himself from a very bad situation. Jawowski just shows, even using a utility jungler, his reaction timing is so fast. I think just from that one game, he showed that, hey, I'm the better jungler. This game might be jungle diff.
Jungle diff, huh? Well, anyone watching game 1 might actually have a similar summary, because really Water did not have a good performance there, which is unusual because in the first match of the day, Water had a very solid performance overall. So is that just the offshoot? Is that an exception because they weren't prepared for dealing with Saigon? Or is this now where we actually start to see some issues, right? Right? Those are questions we have to ask.
By the way, someone in chat did say, catch up with MPL Latam, because the MPL team earned a promotion and now is in the finals. Honestly, I have been watching a little bit of Latam, especially when I wake up early in the morning, because here in Malaysia, it's around 7 a.m., 8 a.m. where the tournament starts. And honestly, some of their games are actually very, very interesting. Although I do see some gaps between the teams where it can be a little bit of a wash or one-sidedness. But either ways, very good question for you, Stava, coming in for this matchup. What do they really need to do? I wonder if we might even potentially see them adjusting and just go for a tank jungle. But I feel like that's a little bit too reactionary. And the moment you see a tank jungle, Saigon Phantom will just change up the draft again and maybe eventually pick up something like an export to potentially counter that.
That's true. If I'm not wrong, both of these teams have actually played the export gold lane already, so that is definitely in the pocket going into this next draft. I personally don't think going tank jungle is necessarily reactionary. I think that you can actually set up plays with it. In fact, Water did go Baxia in their game 2 versus MITH in Thailand, and that went quite well for them as well. So if they're not as confident on heroes like the Lancelot, then it might be a good way for them to keep things a little bit more stable.
Now, looks like Leon is banning out the Kimi. So it has been very evident in day 1 here that the Kimi is a very big factor for the draft coming in from both teams. Saigon Phantom is going to be the first pick. They do ban out the Fanny. In terms of the first pick that they can get in the previous series, Leon first pick that CC. We'll have to see if that's going to be the same priority for Saigon Phantoms, if they're even going to pick it up.
Yeah, CC has been pretty hit or miss today. I personally thought that the nerf wouldn't actually affect her as much as people might think, but it hasn't been a very good showing I don't know if that's circumstantial, but it looks like Saigon Phantom will just decide to take her off the board entirely.
I feel like in this matchup, definitely you want someone that can dive to the back, because the Alice, as well as the Yuzong and the Lapu, is game-changing, especially considering what we saw in Game 1, where if the damage leader is not able to do work, that's going to be huge. Because even though Leon was losing, when Alice enters the fight, you can definitely see that there were opportunities where Leon could have won. So I think that should be the focus for both teams, having set up heroes in the EXP where they're able to stay alive for a very, very long time. Again, I kind of feel like we just got to look at the gold lane here, because Malik had an amazing game in the previous one with the Harif. I wonder if Lamaj saw that and be like, hey, you know what, maybe it's my time to step up. It's my time to show Malik how it's done. Because again, this is PH gold laner and PH roamer. So there must be a little bit more on the table and not just a M Challenge Cup going for the M7 wildcard.
I think that Harif is definitely something to contest, because Lamaj and Malik have both already shown that they're quite good on the hero, have actually solo carried their games with the hero. It's going to be left open. The Grok is going to be the final ban here. Kalea also taken off the table by Saigon, so we're no longer going to see the very easy setups with the Tsunami Slam. But with Kimmy and CC both taken off the table, what is going to be that first pick?
Yeah. Picking the jungler, I think it's going to be good here, and they pick up the Hayabusa.
Wow.
And I feel like that's the reason why they ban over the Kalea, because the other catch hero is going to be the Cho. It's easier for the Cho to catch a Lancelot than the Hayabusa.
That is true, that's true. I think it's also a show of confidence here, because this is one of Jawowski's main heroes. And while it is typically risky to pick an assassin like this first, since it can get countered quite heavily with a bunch of CC pickups, as long as you play well, there are ways to outmaneuver those situations. So we'll see if Jawowski can wow us once again, since their previous score on the Hayabusa was very impressive as well. I think it was like 9-0. Leon, they're gonna start off with the Yuzong Eve. So this is an opening that they already showed at the beginning of the day.
What Leon needs to do is secure a very prio-heavy roamer, because the way that you punish an early assassin pick, besides having like the draft that Saigon Phantom had in game number 1, is have a very oppressing mid trio so that you're able to control the jungle. It establishes two things. Number one, it denies the Hayabusa or the assassin from the opposing team stealing camps away from your own jungle, and the other one is just to prevent his farm, right? So the roamer pick is going to be very important here for Leon, especially considering how Jawowski has been playing in basically all day today. It doesn't matter what hero he uses. It's going to be tough to stop him, but they got to figure out a way.
Ooh, and this is the hero we were talking about, the Harif. Going to be left open. Malik TZ gets to play it once again. We've already seen he plays a mean Harif. Hopefully Leon have a good solution in the gold lane to deal with this now. I think you actually do need to apply pressure right from the very beginning, because oftentimes Harif players have just been allowed to do their own thing for a bit too long. Oh, the Granger going to show up here for the first time. So actual scaling marksman for Leon.
Honestly, I still feel like this is still a pretty good call. Leon, they have to ask, do they want to let go of the Jushin or not? Because if the heroes they pick up has a lot of mobility, you can let go of the Jushin because there's not a lot of damage. So that's also a way that you can control the early. But if you're going to pick up something like a Hylos later on, you got to take that off the table. Instead, they ban out the Alice, and I really like that ban.
Yep. Respect to Juviana as the one who is able to play it. They know how scary it can be, especially since they're going to be playing more of a backline composition now with 2 artillery heroes. They're just going to take it off the board. And I was actually going to bring this up. I was going to say how surprising it was that Hilda hasn't shown up at all today. And I thought this would be a good game for Leon to bring it up to invade against the Hayabusa, but Saigon Phantom is already on top of it.
Something that they can also do for Leon is actually pick up a jungle Baxia, because Baxia is also a hero that can punish the Gatakacha by denying his sustain early, and that's also a way that they can start controlling the jungle. If they don't want to go for that route, they can pick something like a Cho or a Khalid to really bully out that mid and then control the river. But I kind of feel like the easiest way is definitely pick up that Baxia jungle.
I agree. Considering they already have Yuzong EXP Granger Gold, having a tank jungle here just makes sense. And I would prefer the Baxia over the Fredrin in this particular situation. Saigon actually ban out the high-lows themselves, which is interesting. So they're suspecting a potential for Leon to use that along with Eve. But as we thought, it is going to be the Baxia.
Now for Saigon, picking up the mid laner here is going to be pretty tricky. Something that you can do is use a Valentina to take the RWM and use it against the Baxia, making it so that you can punish during those turtle as well as the Lord. Something a little bit safer. Not sure. Not a lot of mids are still open here.
I think it should be Lunox, right? Oh no, it's Zusin.
Jushin and the Lapu here. Jushin is strong against the Baxia. Other than that, Leon honestly has a very good opening here. Wonder what is going to be the roamer. Could still be the Cho or the Kali to apply pressure. Minotaur is up. It just got buffed, but I don't know if they have time practicing with that hero.
Yeah, I don't. Even if they did, I still don't really think this is a Minotaur game. I do like the Cho, I think. It would be a good way to outmaneuver the Zusin. I think Khalid will have a slightly more difficult time, so I'm not a big fan of that. But Don could be a safe fallback. I feel like I'm forgetting something though.
Same. I feel like there's one obvious pick we can't think about. But no, they do pick up the Badang just to make sure that they can counter engage essentially. I just hope they don't mistakenly push someone away that the Baxia as well as the Yuzong want to stick onto, but probably not. But either way, both teams have a very solid draft here. It could really go either way, but Leon, their clear win condition is to win out the mid prio and then translating that inside the jungle. If they're not able to do that, eventually Jaworski on this Hayabusa is going to cause problems.
Yeah, I think this is going to be another case where the team's identities are going to be put in contrast, with Leon playing a more stable team fight setup sort of composition, while Saigon is going to be relying on their core players, Jaworski and Malik TZ, to get that farm, get that snowball, and just take over the game entirely. Either way, this is going to be game number 2. Will we see another clean sweep? Or will Leon Esports show us that game 1 was just a fluke?
I'm very interested to see Juviana on this Yuzong pick because has shown to have that carry potential, just not damage. So this is going to be a very interesting one, and we're going to see if Saigon Phantom has the same attitude of ganking the gold lane, or this time going to switch it up and gank somewhere else. Right now, an engage coming in onto Emzu.
Yeah, Revitalize forced out. Emzu nearly dead, but he is able to back off, and they are able to secure the Litho as well. So nothing too notable done to Saigon there.
Yep. At least what they did is establish dominance, making it so that Jaworski is going to have a harder time counter jungling. But the fact that we're seeing Baxia up top and Jaworski down in bot, there is still some opportunity for him to actually go for a counter jungle, especially the moment they see the Baxia taking that crab. That's why we're seeing Meow staying in the lane, because he needs vision of that crab to see if Jaworski can actually invade or not.
Trying to keep an eye on where the Baxia is going to be rotating is important here. Looks like they will be able to spot him mid. Hyde and Emzu are there, and so far both teams playing things just a little slower. First turtle is where things are really going to start ramping up. Agi gets picked up. The damage is done.
Yep. the shadow has been put in, but again, too much tankiness on the side of Leon, not going to engage through, and they're going for the EXP here, really denying Meow a full level behind. Juviana looks like he has a bone to pick with Meow after game number 1.
It does seem that way. That means EXP pressure is on their side. Fist break comes out. Jinsu's not level 4 yet, but the Black Dragon is gonna come in. Jawowski just misses the retry timing, but is barely able to get the turtle and instantly backs off. They're not looking for a fight here.
That was a big mistake coming in from Leon because Jawowski already missed the retribution. They could have punished someone. The fact that Leon did not get anything there is a very big loss. But now we can see a gank down in bottom here.
Malik TZ will play it safe. AOG comes in, doesn't hit anyone, but Enzu will be able to get the taunt in and the pickup on water. RLM locks in the taunt. First blood goes over to Lamage. And now the Ogi Shadow kills brings about the wrist break. Catches him. Jawowski has to back off. He's not able to pop his ultimate. Malik TZ also has to use his Purify. He's not able to chase down Lamage. Their health is so low. But Leon will come out with no casualties. Wait,
I gotta say, both teams are very brave here.
Kill comes in. Aki is able to disjoint it though. They're all alive.
Dude, this has been happening for a while. Both teams with very little HP playing on death's door, but looks like Lamage played a little bit too much. Finally gets punished. That was a good solid minute where both sides, everyone was just dancing on the edge of death, basically flirting with it and be like, come on, you know you want this. You know you want this, and I'm going to punish you for it. And eventually, Lamage was the only one that succumbed to it. But still, that was a very good trade coming in from both teams, showing that they're still in this game.
And even though Lamage went down, he does still have a slight gold lead over Malik TZ. So the pressure from his team definitely contributed a little bit to that. I think there was no better example of how closely matched these two teams actually are. Even now, gold difference is basically nothing, and the next turtle is coming up.
And this time, I feel like Jawowski remembers his missed retribution timing, so he has to be much more careful for that one. Look at this hide, it's already taking quite a lot of damage, but they go on to the EXP.
Oh, he shadow kill on Juviana, and he finished him off. Jawowski already picked off the Yuzong turtle, dropping low. AOG comes down, Jawowski secures the turtle. RWM comes out, but Saigon Phantom is just running straight through the box of death to get the two-man lockdown. Water goes down, M2 goes down, Jawowski wants more. He's chasing down Lamage. He'll finally end his pursuit, but not before taunting them a little bit.
Again, I guess you're right, man. You got to show your identity, right? You got to show your flair. Show a little bit of disrespect to be like, bro, what you gonna do? I got my Hayabusa. This game is done. I rarely see a Hayabusa do that on professional play, but you know what? I feel like the way that he's been playing, he deserves it.
He honestly does. It just feels in character for him to do that.
And now with that kind of lead, we do see that the EXP is going to be the big factor here because Juviana not being a part of that shows that they do not have enough damage. So it is something that they do have to keep in the back of their mind is that if Juviana gets taken down, maybe they shouldn't go for a fight.
We do know already that Leon Esports is actually quite dependent on Juviana to get the setup. So fist break, fist crack misses! Jinsu greeted with the timing too much. And Malik gets out without even needing Purify.
Yep, that is actually pretty big. But as long as they play safe for the next 30 or so seconds, it should be fine. It should be okay. Now, Leon, I wonder if they have to change their approach here because Saigon Phantom was the aggressor. They started the fight by killing off Juviana first and then going for the turtle. Maybe Leon is to do the same.
Jinsu has
right?
to
Maybe
use
Leon
here.
Yeah, maybe Leon needs to engage onto someone, get the kill first, and then go for those objectives. So don't go objective, get the kills.
Oh, Jinsu's been caught once again, walks into the wrong bush. Ogi Shadow kill finishes him off, and now Meow zones out the back line. Revitalize is going to be used to top them back up. AOG cuts off the escape. The Flicker Landshaker connects with 2, but the damage follow-up is not quite there. Hyde slowing down Juviana's approach. MZU also eating a lot of damage. Will have to back off with the conceal. RWM locks him down, finishes him off. Malik TZ now in trouble. Jawowski secures the turtle, but they've lost his gold laner in exchange. But they get the pickup, and now the Hayabusa going in. Water dropping very low. Raging Slash finishes him off. And now they transition to purple. But the Chris crack! Jinzu comes in from the flank, and Jawowski goes down for the first time in the entirety of the day.
I gotta say, that must feel real good. Catching the Hayabusa in the shadow, getting the kill, that must feel amazing for Leon. And feeling amazing as well is them getting the mid turret, and MZU, seeing what happened in the previous game, he's deciding, you know what, maybe I should build Dominance Ice early on this Gatot.
Yeah, I think that would be very useful, especially against a Yuzong. But that was a very important pivot for Leon Esports. They were able to break down the mid tier 1. Looks like they'll get top tier 1 as well. They're looking for Juviana now. Zaman Force comes in, and they will find it. Hyde with the killing spree.
The Hive is doing way too much damage at this point. Speaking of which, they almost got Jawowski able to escape from that, but still doing quite a bit of damage and at least denying some minions some farm away from Jawowski. Oh,
Conceal. They're looking for Jinzu, but a nice Fist Wind knocks away the Gatot. And see that Saigon is trying to look for a target here, and they do like picking an opponent to try and zone out as much as possible. It does look like they put a lot of focus onto this Yuzong this game, and by disabling Juviana, they have definitely created a lot of space for themselves.
Question, Staffa, was that my fault? Oh.
Potentially. Well, hold on. They are trying to go for a fight right now. Try Brush. The RWM locks them in. Petrify is already gone, but they get the knock-up on Hyde, and Lamage gets the shutdown. 3-man AOG knock-up. Malik TZ in a 1v1 in the back finds Agi with the Zaman Force, but he no longer has it. Juviana now looking to chase down the Hyde, but guess what? Here's Jawowski! Yogi Shadow Kill finishes off Lamage, and Malik sets up the double kill onto Water. Nearly the entirety of Leon is wiped out.
This guy is way too dangerous on the Hayabusa. And I feel bad because I say like, oh, I really want to see how Juviana performs on the Yuzong. And then he does it.
Say that.
Yeah.
My condolences,
if possible, like I want to go back to the live stream and then just edit that part out. So he just won't have the evidence that I said that.
Can't change the past, sir, but now Hayabusa might be in trouble. Oh, they tried to time the fist crack. He actually goes back in. Jawowski just styling on them, but the Petrify finds him. The Black Dragon Form punishes him for re-entering. And that is the second death for the Hayabusa.
Hey, this is already looking much better because in terms of the gold, it's only about 3,000, which is comebackable, right? Definitely comebackable. The fact that they're able to kill off Jawowski is amazing. Something that I'm just unsure of is how much Sky Piercer stack does Lamage have? Because he has kills, yes, but he has died in between.
His crack used, revitalized as well. MZU still alive. RWM traps Tree, but Jinzu is the first one to go down to the Zaman Force. And Malik TZ now has a killing spree. They'll back off from there. Let the Lord push bottom and aim for the mid towers instead.
This is going to be very difficult for them to really stop this hard because they have the tools for it, but Malik has been doing so good at avoiding the threats. If he dies after I say that, I swear.
They actually use Malik as bait. The Ogi Shadow Kill picks up Juviana behind his tier 2. And wow, actually Malik standing in front, telling them to attack him. It's to set up for the ambush.
I gotta say, even in VNC, Malik was good, but he was not this good, man. Like, he has improved so much from, like, what, 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago? One or 2 weeks ago, but dude, he is looking really strong in the current form that he is.
And honestly, I'm impressed as well. I remember he was a solid gold laner, but we have been seeing really, really strong performances Now, of course, this could be limited to certain heroes. They did prioritize the Harry for him, but Conceal comes out, RWM traps them in. Fizzcrack is good, finds 2. As we uses the EOG defensively, but the Flicker Landshaker comes in from the Lapu. Lapu, he's going in on it. Meow will sacrifice his own life to set things up, and Yogi Shadow Kill comes out. Juviana gonna be picked up, but it's a triple for Lamage. They're ignoring the Granger. He's racking up the Sky Piercer stacks. He will eventually get slowed down and taken out by Jawowski, but it ends up being a 3-for-3 trade.
Malik as well as Jawowski being the 2 anime characters on the team, they're really playing it like, you know what, you guys can sacrifice yourself, just let us know what skills has been used and we'll avenge you. We'll actually get those kills. And I gotta say, they're playing this carry role really, really well, where in a way they're playing selfishly, but in a good way, understanding how to use your friends around you to get all the dangerous stuff out of the way so that you can look cool. They're doing it really, really well.
A good friend allows themselves to be used, and that is exactly what's happening right now from Saigon. They know the cores. You see Water rolling in, trying to get vision. The Lord will eventually get reset. Jawowski hiding in the mid bush, waiting for an opportunity, using his friends like usual. Hyde also able to scout out the bushes, so it's very difficult for Leon to approach.
And unfortunately, this time Juviana can't tell Lamage to sacrifice himself like game number 1. This time he is the one that has to make the sacrifice. But look at that. 2 members are far away here. Leon cannot contest.
Yeah, they're blitzing the Lord. Here comes the Black Dragon, but Jawowski has already picked it up. I think Leon needs to back it off. Water gonna be stuck inside the Zaman Force, and the Ogi Shield Kill goes in on Juviana. He is able to survive it this time, though. Fizzcrack locks him down inside the RWM, but Jinzu gets traded away. Landshaker comes out. Jawowski looking to re-enter from the flank, but Meow has gone down. 1-for-1 trade currently, but minion waves all pushing in favor of Saigon.
Yep. Malik got the buff, so at this point it doesn't matter that much, but still that is something to take note. And shout out to the map awareness of Saigon Phantom. I wasn't looking at the minimap, so I was not sure if they had vision of both Lamage as well as Jinzu, but the moment I noticed that they are away from the Lord, Saigon Phantom just blitzed that. So good call. Not sure if they had vision, but whether they had vision or not, still a very good decision just to blitz the Lord as fast as they can.
If I have only one calm, I feel like they didn't need to push as hard as they did to take that fight after blitzing the Lord, but it still ends up being fairly a neutral trade otherwise. Lord pushing up top. Malik is solo taking bottom tower. In fact, he almost took it out, but now he gets the mega kill. He actually kills Lamage by himself. AOG comes in, Revitalize tops him up, and Jinzu goes down as well. This Harif is a main character, and Leon is not prepared for it. Ogi Shadow Kill from Jawowski is unstoppable. Juviana goes down, all the towers fall in an instant, and the Lord is still alive. They pick up the Baxia and throw him to his death, and there's only one left. Make that 0. Malik is unstoppable, and so is the imminent force of Saigon Phantom as they take the clean sweep.
You know what? I knew it. I knew Gon was not the main character. It was secretly Killua. Gon was just the one setting up the show, but Killua is the one that took the stage. Malik on that Harif. Talk about improvements. If he's able to do this on other heroes in the gold lane, then we're looking at a big threat here coming in from Saigon Phantoms. And with that win, Saigon Phantoms is going to be the #1 team of Group A. And even though, yes, it's still good for Leon being at #2, they still get to play in the semifinals. But still, it gotta hurt just a little bit getting 0-2'd by Saigon Phantoms.
Especially when they flex the draft by just showing off Hayabusa at the very beginning. And they still weren't able to do much about it. Malik TZ is of course going to be our MVP of this one, going 7-1 and 11, being the richest player on the board. Somehow 1v2ing in the bot lane right outside the opponent's base and killing the enemy Granger.
By the way, for you folks at home, you saw like that dude. It's the pauldron item. It's just that the item is so new, we don't have graphics for that. But you know, it's just the pauldron. But at that point in the game, it's already over. He bought it literally, basically after his death in the base. But anyways, right now the damage king as well as the DPS machine Malik TZ, man, he showed up, flexing on him. Right now, based on that performance, my personal favorite to win it all, essentially.
I think after that, every other team watching knows we cannot give this man Harif. You are basically asking to throw the game if you let him have this signature pickup. There's a reason they were willing to pick it so early alongside the Hayabusa in the draft, because they're well aware of what he's capable of with it. And especially in this meta where we are starting to see attack speed marksman fall off a little bit, Harif just gets even stronger.
And hey, maybe that's something that we'll see reflect moving forward as well for all the other tournaments. But now we can see that Saigon Phantom is going to be the #1 team in Group A. So they will be fighting the #2 team of Group B. And Leon Esports has to be ready to fight against the #1 team of Group B, which if we're looking at just purely previous performance, it could be 189 Esports. And that's going to be very interesting because 189 is the runner-up of LNC. So it could just be a rematch of the LNC Grand Finals if 189 Esports does become #1 of Group B.
That is possible, but so far we haven't had the chance yet to actually witness the capabilities of any of the Group B teams. That's all going to be happening tomorrow. At that point, we will be able to have a better idea of how well they match up against teams like Saigon Phantom and Leon Esports, who both had pretty impressive performances today.
Yeah, and honestly, this is pretty good for the Group B team because they're able to see what works and what doesn't work, but more importantly, they're able to scrim. So they can try things out where they can see what's worth it in draft and what's not worth it in draft. Because I kind of feel like adjusting to the items is going to be slightly a bit more difficult, but the impact isn't all that amazing. The impact with the draft, now that's huge. But speaking of which, thank you very much, Staffa, as well as everyone here watching the MCCM Season 6. This is going to be the end of today, but tune in for tomorrow because it is going to be Group B playing, and we'll see who will be #1, #2, and finally who will be eliminated. See you guys for tomorrow.